Gold is valued at $1,201 per ounce. Zen is trading at $15, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,329. Antiwar.com reports a widely expected military offensive against rebel-held Idlib province in northern Syria has been canceled, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. This follows a deal reached by Russia and Turkey to establish a new buffer zone in the area. The deal will see a 15 to 25 kilometer wide buffer zone established between government and rebel territory inside Idlib province. The rebels are to leave this area, which will be jointly patrolled by Turkey and Russia, and are to withdraw all heavy weapons from the area. This deal aims to push both the rebels further back towards the Turkish border and to preclude a military confrontation with Turkey itself, as they've been reinforcing their own position in Idlib in the recent days. This delays any reckoning for what's left of the rebel-held territory, but still appears not to have any specific associated plans for addressing the territorial dispute, nor the presence of a substantial al-Qaeda force in Syria beyond pushing them back a bit and starting a new buffer zone. In the meantime, this will both mean an end to the Syrian and Russian airstrikes against the province and put rebel artillery further away from the rest of the country, limiting civilian casualties. Whether a deal results afterwards is anyone's guess, but there still appears to be little interest in direct talks on either side. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They're working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform and generate income from them. This will allow Horizon to bring thousands of real-life services to the community, services that provide freedom, utility, and privacy. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community, HORIZEN.global. UPI reports while the full measure of Hurricane Florence's impact on the Carolinas has yet to be fully determined, there are early reports of floodwaters inundating and breaching coal ash landfills and hog waste lagoons. Duke Energy Corp, the largest electric provider in North Carolina, said on Monday there was a spill of coal ash at one landfill site near Wilmington and flooding at another near Goldsboro. Coal ash is the fine byproduct left over after coal is burned to generate electricity. The substance is typically stored in landfills or basins to prevent it from contaminating the air and environment, but the top of the 20-foot tall site at the LV Sutton power plant was washed into Lake Sutton, which connects to Cape Fear River. The company said in a statement the majority of displaced ash was collected at a perimeter ditch and haul road that surrounds the landfill and is on plant property. Meanwhile, water flooded another coal ash pond at Duke Energy's HF Lee plant. Before Florence made landfall as a Category 1 hurricane on Friday, environmental officials were concerned about its effect on the Carolinas industries, particularly hundreds of pig farms that were in the path. North Carolina is home to 9.7 million pigs that produce some 10 billion gallons of manure each year, all of which is stored in thousands of open lagoons dotting the state. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. Reuters reports the U.S. Air Force estimated startup cost for a proposed U.S. Space Force, a new military service backed by President Donald Trump, will be around $13 billion in the first 5 years, according to a Department of Defense memo seen by Reuters. The Air Force, the U.S. military branch that takes responsibility for space, authored the September 14th memo outlining a proposal for a lethality-focused organization that will field space superiority capabilities. The Trump administration in August announced an ambitious plan to usher in the force as the sixth branch of the military by 2020. It would require congressional approval. The Pentagon memo was written by Air Force Secretary Heather Wilson, a former member of Congress from New Mexico. The memo estimated that creating a Space Force will cost in excess of $3 billion in the first 12 months, with an additional $10 billion needed over the following 4 years. The U.S. Air Force estimated there could be more than 13,000 people in the new Department of the Space Force. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Following several months of negotiations, representatives at the Minnesota State Museum confirmed today that they've extended their final offer to the anonymous owner of the couch from the hit 1970s sitcom The Mary Tyler Moore Show.
We hope an agreement can be reached soon because after months of back and forth, we just need a straight answer here.
Healy noted that the brown velvet artifact would be a welcome addition to its media wing, which boasts a robust collection, including several iconic Minnesota pieces.
We have the fence from Grumpy Old Men. We acquired the puck from the Mighty Ducks several months ago.
Healy and his team made their first bid in December of 2012 and have cycled through 5 rounds of negotiations, reportedly tripling their initial offer in an urgent attempt to secure the sale.
It's not every day that an artifact of this significance comes on the market and went... Oh my God, it's him. It's him, okay? Hello, sir. What would you say if I went up another 2?
This is the Onion News Network. Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live, inviting you to join us here on the radio waves. You can bring up whatever you want. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Plus, there's our Discord on-air call-in line rooms. Just jump into our Discord server, which is our online chat server. It's there 24/7. Of course, to get on the air with us, you have to be in the chat rooms or the on-air call-in line rooms during our live show, which is from 7 to 10 at night Eastern every single day. If you're listening delayed on a radio station that doesn't air us live, or maybe listening later via podcast, you can always call any day you want to participate in the show. You don't have to be listening live. If there's something you want to share with us, share with our audience, our phone lines and Discord lines are always open to you. It's Ian Johnson and Mark in the studio here tonight. Starting out, I mentioned this story last night, Mark, and we just kind of talked briefly about price gouging and then got distracted by phone calls or something like that. We never actually ended up getting into it.
That never happens here on Free Talk Live.
And you had requested this story. And then plus, coming up, Johnson, you'll be telling us about Facebook. Apparently some advertising that's problematic on Facebook.
Yep.
We can get into that. The story from Robesonian.com, published late last week.
I presume they're about to tell us about how people who price gouge are, in fact, heroic.
Well, he's certainly going to make the claim that it's a good thing, ultimately.
Oh, good. Oh, okay. not usual
This
point
isn't
of view
an attack.
on the
This is not an attack piece against people raising prices during emergencies. It's defending that. And it appears to have been published in a newspaper. This Robesonian is a new North Carolinian newspaper. So he writes from, by the way, this guy is from the John Locke Foundation. His name is John Sanders. The forecast for Hurricane Florence looks bleak. It's hard to imagine as of this writing, but if the storm proceeds the way it's predicted to go, then by next week, people's lives and neighborhoods in many areas of the state, from the coastal towns to central Piedmont, will be radically altered. And indeed, it did touch down and do some pretty serious damage, from what I understand. In the next few weeks, as recovery begins, normally plentiful goods will be hard to come by. Already, shelves are emptying of water, bread, batteries, and other survival necessities.
Bread and milk. People that would never consume bread or milk go right out and buy all kinds of bread and milk during hurricanes.
Gasoline will also be hard to find. Elsewhere across the country, consumer products will be readily accessible as normal. But who's going to bring those necessities to North Carolina if they can't afford to? Bottled water suppliers, bread makers, and gasoline distributors are people, and they have families, and they need to be able to take care of their families first. If they see our needs but can't redirect their supplies into North Carolina...
Oh, come on. We can't have these people bringing water down into disaster areas. We need to leave the water in crates and, stacked up on airplane runways for years on end.
Are you talking about what the government does?
Yeah, like in Puerto Rico.
It's happened.
I heard about that.
It's happened. It happens every single time.
Yep.
It happened during Hurricane Katrina, where they actually turned away trucks full of water, saying they had it under control.
Walmart, get out of here.
Yeah, I saw one of these socialist memes out there that's like, everybody hates socialism until every Republican hates socialism until they're standing on their roof, during a hurricane or something like that. And well, okay. First, my first statement is if you're going out to get water right after a hurricane goes through, you deserve to pay $10 a gallon. First off, This is as a person who, grew up in Florida.
Right, because how could you not have known the hurricane was coming? I mean, I can understand being disconnected from the news, but then everybody starts talking about it. So unless you're living off in the woods by yourself with no human interaction whatsoever, you probably are going to know at some point.
If you're living off in the woods with no human interaction, you're fine.
Because
the hurricane's not going to hit you out in the woods. The hurricane hits the people in the coast. It's the people in the big giant mansions on the on the barrier islands that really get it.
True. I mean, you're going to get some wind and rain if you're inland a little bit, because you can still get some devastation inland.
And then,
I mean, don't act like you can't. You can.
And then I guess I have to assume that the people within 2 houses on either side of you didn't have any water saved either, because people have water saved for hurricanes. Lots of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was a guy in his 20s and saving water for hurricanes. I mean, how much of a baby adult, how much of an infantile, irresponsible drunk do you have to be to not have water? I mean, the hurricane is beginning to blow. You turn your bathtub on and start filling old bottles. Oh, you don't have any.
So you can flush.
I mean, anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to fill the bathtub up so that you can put stuff in the toilet and be able to flush. But that's step 2.
Right.
Admitted, right? You got to admit, that's step 2.
Well, I mean, I don't know about you, but I wasn't too fond of the fact that, like, where we were from in Sarasota, Florida, I would not trust the tap water down there anyway. There was several times where they were giving us reports about how the sewage line had broken and accidentally leaked into the tap water. So, I'm only using that water to flush with. But, I would have, hey, it's a hurricane. Let's go and get some spring water gallons, a couple of those. I'm not probably the type that was responsible enough to be stocking up for months. But, hey, maybe a few days without electricity. But then again, I also was the type who would underplay and be like, hurricane party, let's go.
I went to hurricane parties too, there's no doubt. But I mean, I had some bottles. I had a Brita pitcher filter.
Yeah.
I had, at the very least, you can fill those bottles up from your tap and then run them through the Brita later. You're going to live.
Yeah. Right.
I mean,
iodine tablets in case the hurricane hits a nuclear reactor.
I did not have that.
Be over-prepared.
Admit that. I mean, I've got enough fat stores. I should be okay for a few days.
Still got to drink, though.
Yeah, you got to have water. Yeah. I mean,
alcohol when the hurricane hits. You need to drink alcohol. That's very important.
So, yeah. I mean, I don't have a lot of sympathy for this imaginary person out there that desperately needs free water.
So he says, what do you mean if they can't afford to bring us water and gas? Because North Carolina has a law against, and like a lot of states, against price gouging. It outlaws, quote, excessive prices during states of disaster, states of emergency, or abnormal market disruptions.
Oh, cool. It's not excessive, so no problem.
Well, I guess.
Except for their laws, I'm sure.
It'll be up to the judge to decide whether it was excessive.
It'll be up to the jury. Well, a bunch of mind-numbed people.
Right.
I mean, people whom half of them would be, by definition, below average in cognitive ability.
Because North Carolina has this law, Governor Roy Cooper declared
I was just going to say, there should be, if you're going to be determining excessive, you need to go into a cost versus risk analysis. There's a certain amount of risk that's being taken, so shouldn't profit be somewhat in line with that,
it
right? I mean, these
right.
people, that's what I was saying when I said originally that they are heroic, somebody who price gouges, because somebody who price gouges isn't just in business. They're also risking their lives in many cases.
They don't have to open their doors.
Right, they're open. On one hand, if the store that sells nothing but water has to price their water at normal water prices.
It's not even just a store, though. Some people
do it on the side of the
travel.
road.
They in other words, they'll buy a bunch of supplies and then
they're
bring
harder
it down
to catch,
to that area.
though.
Yeah.
So what this law really does is goes after the people who have a gas station who decide to open up during or after an emergency, and those people need an incentive to open during or after an emergency. And what's that incentive? You want to be able to take care of your family during this crisis time by going to the store. I got news for you. The person who owns the store wants to be able to take care of their family too.
Right.
So what's their incentive for opening their doors and then
Goodwill towards men, Mark.
Right.
But isn't that...
What about your family that you want to take care of during this crisis? You mean my goodwill should be given to you, but you're not going to give any to me?
Wait a minute. Are you saying profits are more important than your family?
I'm saying profits are an indication of where people's values lie. If you want me to do,
so you're saying you value profit greater than taking care of your family? Is that
I
what
will
you're
come
telling
over
me?
to your house and I will plunge your toilet for $1,000. I won't do it for 10. Okay, prices get people to do things.
Isn't that though the cinematic, like the typical sort of cliche of when you were talking about catching these people? You know, the cop pulls over, people are trying to get water just to get water for their families, and they're saying, "You can't be doing this. You know, this is against the law." It's sort of like that standard thing of you're doing something wrong. Meanwhile, people are like, "Just let us have our water."
Then the cops confiscate it all.
Yeah.
Give it to their families.
Right.
More coming up here in moments. 8:55, 450 free. We got more on price gouging, so-called price gouging, in just a bit. You can share your thoughts too. Free Talk Live.
Ike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, "Oh!" My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, "Ooh, get the stinky dog away from me."
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
The omega-3 fatty acids,
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa,
the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
the ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They are working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Their coin and ticker symbol remain ZEN. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. We're talking about price gouging. You can bring up whatever's on your mind here. So-called price gouging, I guess we should say. Another better way of putting it would be high demand pricing, because low supply, high demand, right? If the supply is low and people want something, prices should go up naturally. These are market signals that are being sent out to people to say, hey, look, there's money to be made here. If you want to make some money, you could bring your product in and make money. But then if more product comes in, prices could go down if people enter the market to compete.
I think it might be a stretch, but say it's price sculpture. It's like an art form, figuring out what the right price is. You're not just gouging at the stone. You're
Pricing is an art form.
Yeah,
You're
carving it artfully.
So if price gouging is a bad thing, then why don't I do it now? Why don't I go on the side of the road, set up a big, how to sell some $10 gallons of water out of the back of my truck?
Because supply is available.
Because there's no victims for you to take advantage of.
Right. I mean, okay, so what we're admitting here is that the price of water then goes up during an emergency. I guess. I really don't see that, because every time I see an emergency, I see truckloads of water going in. I see the Cajun Navy coming through.
It's because these evil capitalists are just trying to take advantage of people and steal their money.
I see a bunch of socialists on Facebook complaining about imaginary water overpricing.
Well, now, I mean, are you saying everybody who complains about it is a socialist? Because ultimately, this is just an authoritarian thing, right? Like, this doesn't have to do with socialism.
Is authoritarianism.
Socialism is authoritarian, but authoritarianism is more than just socialism.
That's true.
Price controls are straight up authoritarian. It has nothing to do with state ownership of, the means of capital or whatever.
They're exercising control over the means of production.
That's authoritarian. Yeah, in that particular case. Because it's not production. It, like Johnson said, some people will go and buy water outside. Let's say if, the hurricane hits in North Carolina, they're buying it in, a nearby state and then trucking it in just because they can make some money on it. So it doesn't have to do with production. But let's continue.
This is pinkos, people who don't understand economics, going on Facebook and complaining.
Is it possible to not understand economics and not be a pinko?
It is possible, but the default position is basically pinko.
Well, no, the default position is ignorance. To be a pinko would mean you're a communist, and you've actually,
if you're a pinko,
learned about communism.
You don't understand economics. So the default position is a pinko, right?
No, isn't pinko short for communist?
And the way you do it is bad.
Pinko is usually included in front of the word communist, right? So pinko. So you're referring to communist. A communist is somebody who has a specific belief system about the way an economy should be organized. It's a terrible belief system that's based in authoritarianism and forced wealth redistribution.
It includes price controls.
But it's possible to not be a communist and also believe in these price gouging laws. Simply because you have feels.
So the definition is, pinko is a pejorative coined in 1925 in the United States to describe a person regarded as being sympathetic to communism.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But not necessarily a Communist Party member.
Correct.
It has since become used to describe anyone perceived to have leftist or socialist sympathy.
Right. You can find people, Mark.
Price controls are leftist.
No, they are not. They are authoritarian. You better believe there are people on the right who believe in this. I guarantee you, if you go down to North Carolina and you find people on the streets and you ask them if they're in favor of fair pricing on their water instead of gouging, and they say, yes, I am, and then you further ask them, who did you vote for or what's your political party, I guarantee you're going to find Republicans, if you ask them further, would you self-describe as a communist, they would say no.
Our troops can't afford them flak jackets. What are you trying to price them out of the market for?
I will say this.
They need to save their lives.
Price controls, especially during disasters, price gouging, whatever it is the most pervasive, insidious form of sort of leftist communist tripe, and it does trickle down to all kinds of ignoramuses out there.
Well, I don't understand why you keep labeling it as leftist
Because
when it's authoritarian. It's statist. It's statist.
Statism.
It's economically liberal.
Are you going to try to say statism is leftist? Because that's ridiculous. There are plenty of people on the right who are statists. What are you talking about?
If you claim to tell me how I can sell my
They love their military. They love their police. They love their favorite government agencies, and they want those
Stalin
agencies
loved
to get bigger.
the police and the military, too. That's how he killed 12 million people.
I'm talking about people on the right.
He ran a totalitarian regime. And
was he a righty or a lefty?
He was a lefty.
Okay. We're talking about people on the right also being authoritarian and also trying to tell people what to do and interfere in the economy.
They're not
Are
real
right-wingers
righties.
Oh. So now you
can
know
do
a
it with
true
leftists.
righty. So the true righty is somebody who what? Can you define that for me?
Controls
Here, let's get into that in a moment.
leftist.
First, I want to tell you about a good price on something. That is the Blink Protect home security system. You go to blinkprotect.com/FTL and get it now, because you can get it for 15% off. They're already low prices. These are wireless security cameras, and they are HD quality, and they're motion activated, so you can set them up during whatever time frame to operate that you want. Maybe you only want them on at night. Maybe you want them on while you're at work for the day. Whatever, you decide, and then when something happens in front of the Blink cameras, you'll know about it because it'll take a clip and send that to you over the internet to your smart device like your phone. There's no contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. That's because Blink is now an Amazon company. Amazon was so impressed by their product, they bought the company. BlinkProtect.com/FTL to get 15% off. Let's go to the phones to the fun here. I don't want to wait because Alex has been waiting here for a while.
Okay.
Alex in Ventura, California, watching us on Twitch at twitch.lrn.fm. Go ahead, Alex.
Hey everyone! Thanks so much for having me on.
Thank you for being here. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I was hoping to talk being in California, as I like to call it.
Yes.
Having to constantly think about earthquakes and disaster preparedness. But before I get into that, I'm sorry, Ian. I have the show up on the TV, and would you please mind putting a shirt on? My young daughter just came in from school, and
what's it worth to you?
A little discomforting. What's it worth to me? That's a good question. Well,
let's set a price.
Do you value bits at the same rate that Amazon prices them?
Bits? Are you talking about the Twitch thing? The Twitch
Yes,
bits?
I am.
Okay, so those are what, about 1 cent per each or something like that?
I believe so. I believe so.
But you're saying Amazon offers them at a discount, or what? Why? Or what?
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they have promotional things. I believe that the streamers still get 1 cent per at redemption, but I'm not 100%.
Are you offering bits?
Is he going to offer you a shave and a haircut?
Well, I would like to hear his pricing demands for getting a shirt on, so I don't have to send my daughter, to a different part of the house.
Ian,
do you normally send your daughter elsewhere when walking on the street and a topless man is nearby?
In California?
I don't understand how frequently you think we encounter topless men.
In California?
Do you go to the beach? Do people jog by your house?
Not that frequently.
Okay, good. Ian, I'm going to start the bidding at $3. Will you put a shirt on for $3?
You're going to enter the bidding?
I don't think $3 is worth it for me.
All right, Alex, get to your point then. What were you calling about?
I was just going to say that disaster preparedness in California is a very big deal, and as far as I'm aware, there isn't much price gouging legislation in the vicinity where I am. It's been quite a while since we've had a substantive earthquake.
Oh, I guarantee
really
you there's price gouging legislation in California. I mean, it's absolutely on the books there.
Well, I'll have to do some research and get back to you. But in my experience, I support what you guys are doing, and I just wanted to voice my support. So thanks
for the call. I appreciate it.
I think we should ask Trump whether or not the Chinese tariffs are on the right or not.
Great point.
Best I've been able to find is that the only term they'll use is authoritarian.
For what?
Price controls.
I agree.
They're the
855.
farthest right tariffs you've ever seen.
450 free. And tariffs are also authoritarian.
Ever wonder how Bitcoin and Ethereum were created? Vercel Media has helped hundreds of companies and individuals make their own cryptocurrency. Decentralized blockchain solutions are making the world more transparent and giving power back to the people. Vercel Media has helped companies raise tens of millions in the past year alone, structuring and marketing ICOs to the thirsty crypto public worldwide. Don't miss the cryptocurrency revolution. Visit vercelmedia.com, VERCEL media.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us right here. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live brought to you by Horizon, formerly known as Zencash. They made a big branding change recently, and that's because Horizon is more than just a cryptocurrency. It's a privacy platform that's built on zero-knowledge technology. That's great tech for privacy. built there into Horizon. And they've got a decentralized secure node architecture, which means that you can actually get paid if you run their secure or super nodes. You can learn more about that over on their website, horizon.global, HORIZEN.global. But it's, again, more than just crypto. They've also got a chat platform that allows you to chat with others on the Horizon network. And you can publish information soon. Not yet, but they're working on this. That will allow you to publish information online and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. So they've got a big vision for the future of this crypto. It is now known as Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Go to horizon.global, HORIZEN.global. As we go to the phones, to the fun, he's Jim in New Mexico, listening or watching us on Twitch at twitch.lrn.fm. Hey, Jim.
Hi, Ian. Listen, I'm calling from customer service. I've gotten a number of complaints about your channel for partial nudity. I was wondering if you could perhaps put a shirt on. Complaints just coming.
I tell you, man, these Twitchers get all kinds of uppity about a little topless male. You know, it's not prohibited on Twitch, by the way. I've read the rules.
You've read the terms of service?
Yeah,
on Twitch.
I've read the community guidelines or whatever, where they talk about.
You need a hobby.
Oh, he hung up, by the way. Well, no, the reason why was because I know that Twitch does have some pretty ridiculous rules. So, like, I'll give you an example. And this I have not actually looked at myself. This I heard from another Twitch, so I just believe it to be true because I've heard about some of their rules. So Twitch is a video game streaming platform first and foremost, right? Like, that's, if you're on twitch.tv, that's what you see. It's 99% just video game streaming. And what happens in most video games?
You shoot people.
There you go. Conflict, right? With violence. Because games without violence, pretty boring. You know, Barbie games, probably not the most interesting.
There's the three-match games. There's the whatever the one you
the puzzle games.
The Sims and SimCity are fantastic.
Sure, that's true. But there's even conflict in the SimCity game, right? Like where Godzilla or whatever will come in and just destroy.
Disasters, but
So anyway,
and some of the conflict's romantic or personal.
Well, in The Sims, there's all sorts of weird stuff.
So anyway, generally, video games have conflict and violence. But you can show the most violent video game action on Twitch, no problem. You know, blasting people's heads open, whatever kind of gore-filled zombie game or other, player versus player shooters with violence and gore. But as soon as you show a real gun on Twitch, oh boy, you have violated their terms of service, according to what I've heard. And with regard to, you can actually get away with some things on Twitch that you can't do on YouTube, like you can stream music on Twitch, and that's okay. They'll blank it out of your archive, but live it'll go out, and that's apparently fine with Twitch. Whereas if you stream music on YouTube, they will probably cut your stream off and deny you access to their.
So you can actually do a DJ gig.
You actually could.
What if you have a real gun and then you take like an orange plastic tip and you put it on it and you're like, it's a fake gun and I just took the orange tip off. Just kidding. Wait, is it? I don't know if it's real or not.
I don't know. Like I said, I haven't actually reviewed that part of their terms of service. But because I know, some people were, there's a certain group of people who are, let's call them antisocial. They want to get us kicked off of Twitch, so they'll call in and say the N-word or something like that on the air. And
I don't know if they're antisocial; they're just idiots.
Well, whatever. They're certainly, trying to get us kicked off. And
I think they just want to see, what's the worst thing I could say?
No, that the reason they specifically say that one is because Twitch has a prohibition against that. You can say the F word all day and all night on Twitch. That's no problem. But if the N word goes out on Twitch, then it's potential ban, and they think it's going to get us, but it doesn't, because we don't tolerate it, right? Like, we're not okay with it. We hang up on that call if that happens. We can't hit a dump button on Twitch.
They say it, then report their own video.
Correct.
Of themselves. Okay.
Yeah, they report the video as a result of that. So they can't report us for...
You'd have to be 14 to believe that was going to work.
Yeah. You can't report us for being topless because it's not being done to titillate. It's not being done
to... It sure isn't.
It's not... And, the rules are, if it's something you would normally do, then it's fine.
And it is.
I've got my shirt off all day during the summertime here in New Hampshire. Don't worry, you young males who are all kinds of upset about topless males, because they sure as hell wouldn't call in if there was a topless female here or some girl in a bikini. You couldn't be topless as a female. But if there's a girl in a bikini sitting here, then then we would all of a sudden have 100 viewers. because that's all it would take, right? There on Twitch, if you are a female and you kind of show a little bit of cleavage, then you do a lot better than the females who don't. Because
I'm sure
your audience is mostly young males who probably aren't much older than 25, maybe. Right, generally.
Those are money makers. Yep.
So anyway, here we are. If you want to see it, you're welcome to go to twitch.lrn.fm and follow us there, and we'd appreciate that. So we were talking about the price gouging, which is a political term. Ultimately, we are not in favor of price gouging laws. We're in favor of market competition, and in a time frame where there's a disaster, there's not as much competition. Some people don't want to open their stores at all, and those who are willing to open up would like to be able to charge more because their inventory is limited. It's harder to get new stock in. If you run out of a thing, if you run out of a shelf of batteries, your next shipment might not have been scheduled for a certain period of time, and it's going to be a difficult thing to get a special shipment in. You're going to have to pay more. If you want to have a truck come in with a pallet full of batteries on a special order, well, you got to pay more for that, and therefore you got to increase your prices. But if the government comes in and says, no, you cannot increase prices on those batteries, well, then you have no incentive to get that special order in because
you wait till the regular shipment comes.
Yeah, you can't charge for it. Governor Roy Cooper.
In fact, you might as well just close your store while the disaster's going on.
Sorry,
because. Why bother making money?
That's what's happened. That's what's happened in Venezuela. They attempted price controls there. The grocery stores are bare.
Right. Why bother just even being business? I mean, you have to put yourself at risk to open your doors. So you can't make any money doing it, and you're just going to run out of stock anyway.
Right.
Well, why bother?
Well, right here in the real world, grocery stores attempt to keep as little inventory in possession as possible.
Well, especially if it spoils.
Right. Well, everything spoils in a grocery store. I mean, you don't want a bottle of olives in a sealed container that's been sitting there for 3 years.
For sure.
And if they don't sell well, they're not going to be on the shelf anyway.
Right.
But shelf space is incredibly dear, and these shipments come in all week long. There are people that don't even work for the store that come in and stock the bread and the soda and the chips and all this other stuff.
I saw a meme going around Facebook recently where it was like a picture of a grocery store during the hurricane or during one of these recent disasters.
Hurricane or Venezuela? Was that what it was?
No, it wasn't one of those. It was a picture of basically all the shelves were empty except for the vegan products.
The faux turkey, tofurkey.
Yeah.
Governor Roy Cooper declared a state of emergency. This story from Robsonian.com. On Friday, and now Attorney General Josh Stein is warning about retailers who, quote, take advantage of people's desperation, unquote, by charging prices that are, quote, out of whack from what they should be, unquote. Well, who do you think you are, mister, to decide what a price should be? The only people who get to decide in the marketplace what prices should be are buyers and sellers when they come to an agreement in the moment on what that price is. That's it. Some bureaucrat out there who makes these decisions is essentially nothing more than a lower level Nicolas Maduro, the president of Venezuela, who has put on all kinds of price controls on the products in that company and basically wiped out business.
Country.
Yeah. Did I say country?
Yeah.
I did. Wiped out business. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. In fact, I've got an update on what's going on in Venezuela, and of course, it's not good. But we got more about so-called price gouging coming up here in moments, because it's popular to be against price gouging. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733, which means it's hard to take a principled stand on this particular issue. So kudos to the author here at the Robsonian for doing that. It's Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
Your property and your family are precious. Protect them with Blink, like we have. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up fast, and their batteries last up to 2 years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening at home anytime, anywhere from your smartphone. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. You can get 3 Blink cameras for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Heart-related health problems affect millions of people each year. Maybe you're one of the many who suffer from issues related to angina pain, high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, unbalanced cholesterol, irregular heartbeat, or clogged arteries. There is a solution that doesn't involve expensive prescription drugs that only mask the problem and leave you with horrible side effects. If you are ready to live your life free of sickness, pain, and fear, live your life with increased vitality, energy, and youthfulness, and experience your body healing itself, then you're ready for Heart and Body Extract from Healthy Hearts Club. Here is what one satisfied customer had to say about Heart and Body Extract regarding his angina pain.
I haven't had an angina pain since I've been on it. The Heart Body Extract is just so great. I thank God that I was led to this product that's doing so much for me and that can do so much for other people.
Call to order your 2-month supply of Heart and Body Extract today. Call 1-866-295-5305 or go to hbextract.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever's on your mind here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And also, we've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. With you tonight, by the way, it's Ian.
Yeah, and Johnson.
And Mark.
And I do want to make sure you know about the Free Talk Live AMP program, and thanks out to our Free Talk Live amplifiers, including Mal Esclavo, who is an Amplifier Gold.
Is that a real name?
I don't know. It's what they put in. They wanted to.
That's
be
how we do it
on the air. Because you can be anonymous if you want. By default, you are with the AMP program. But if you want to be recognized, we're now recognizing all of our amplifiers one by one as time goes on here. And we started this the beginning of this month, basically. So thank you, Mal, for that. And he's a gold amplifier, which means he's doing $10 a month. We ask $5. That's the sort of the minimum for the AMP program. But he's doubling that. He's doing $10 a month. So thank you for that. And one of our longest running amplifiers out there. So if you want to get on the AMP program, please back us up. You can use credit card, you can use PayPal, you can use Bitcoin BTC. Just go to amp.freetalklive.com.
I thought it might be Spanish, but Mal Esclavo translates to evil is nail. So probably
NAIL, like the nail that you hammer?
Yes.
Okay.
But I don't think that's what it is.
So you can become an amplifier over at amp.freetalklive.com, ampamp.freetalklive.com, and you get perks like access to the AMP Only podcast, the AMP Only Facebook group, the AMP discussion forums on discussion rooms on the Discord chat. Head on over to amp.freetalklive.com. Speaking
That's
of
where the smart
Discord,
kids hang out.
Speaking of Discord, if you want to avoid the trolls on the Discord, then if you're an amplifier, you can avoid them unless they also happen to be amplifiers, which I haven't noticed any trolling going on in the AMP chat rooms there. Anyway, we got Stefan. He's in Ohio on the Discord line. Hello there, Stefan.
I've been hearing you guys talking about price gouging after the hurricane, and it seems like every time there's a sort of natural disaster, we hear about this. And the only thing I can ever think is these people live on the coast. They know that there's a potential danger for hurricanes. Isn't part of their responsibility to make sure they have a stockpile of water for when this happens? And why does it only seem to be, brought up after the fact?
These are the same people for whom insurance is so expensive that a government program was created to give welfare to upper class and upper middle class people. In many cases, those are the people living close to the coast. Not always. Sometimes you've got some people who are in the lower rungs that are living close to the coast. But it's the upper and middle class, upper and upper middle class, the top two quintiles that are disproportionately represented in these areas. And then why in the world would we create a state-funded, a government-funded insurance scheme to give them insurance? If you want to live close to the coast, you need to be able to finance the inevitable problems that come with living close to Mother Nature.
Yeah, and it seems like in the days prior to a hurricane, because last year there was can't remember the name of the hurricane, the one that hit Fort Lauderdale in Miami.
Maria, I think.
Irma.
Okay.
Okay, I had family that lived down there, and in the days preceding, there was a very small markup on cases of water. It wasn't like some crazy markup, but then after the fact, after the hurricane had hit, then the prices went out. It seems like a lot of people were not taking the responsibility to prep even in the days beforehand. Do you think that, this might just be people finding something to whine about?
Yeah, I think I don't. The complaints about water, I think, are vastly overblown. If in some cases you'll find companies selling the single-serving waters in a case for the price of single-serving waters, and then people are like, this is outrageous.
You mean taking one serving of what like a bottle would cost and multiplying it, just no quantity discount is what you're saying? So
correct, but there are some waters,
case might be $24 if it was $1 per bottle.
But there are waters that are delivered and sold with that in mind. In many cases, the store doesn't buy it and then sell it. They are simply a distributor for it, and it's the bottling company that's taking the risk because any returns go back to them and all that other stuff. So the bottling company is the one that decides what a given bottle is worth. Now, when I buy a 30-pack of waters that I'm going to take to jiu-jitsu class one at a time, or hopefully refill, but I don't always do it. Sometimes I do, but I probably refill them twice, 3 times, and then they end up lost or thrown away or whatever.
Much longer, you're going to get funky. There's going to be some funkiness going on.
Those bottles, that thing's like $3 for a case of water.
Right.
But if you go to the store that you would just grab one water off of the rack, that particular bottle. Now, that bottle is going to be firmer. It's going to have a different cap on it. It's going to look entirely different. Not entirely. It's going to look similar but different. That bottle is priced differently. And if you want a case of those bottles of water, because all the rest of the bottles of water are sold out, tough cookies. You're going to have to pay individual pricing for them.
Are you talking like Fiji and things like that?
Well, sometimes, Fiji comes in, not just the brands. It could be the regular Pepsi.
You're talking about a case of bottles that are intended for single sale, not intended for, mass discount or whatever, quantity discount.
Correct.
Oh, I see. So people will take, bottles of water like Fiji and things like that and put them in a pack of 24 or 30
No, they'll leave them. They'll leave them in the pack. They, when the bottling company brings in bottles of water,
they'll leave them in the pallet. Okay.
Right.
Okay, I didn't know how that worked. Thanks for the perspective on that. I kind of just wanted to bring that up. Like,
Okay.
why do people?
Anything else you want to share tonight?
Screw Gary Johnson.
I got a question for you, Stefan. You do a lot of Twitch watching. Can you cite any more ridiculous Twitch rules that you know of in their terms of service? Because I cited a couple earlier.
You were mentioning that like a female could be in a bra. Actually, that is outlawed. You're not allowed to be in a bra or darn near naked if you're a female on Twitch.
Really? I thought it was only if it was something you didn't normally do. So if she normally walked around in like a bra, then that would be okay. But that's not okay?
No, you're not allowed to do that. The reason being is there used to be, I'm not going to say it because it's kind of, I don't know if you're allowed to say it on the radio, but there was a term for these kinds of people. And what they would do is in their thumbnail, a lot of people would see a chick in a bra, and then they'd be like, "Ooh, I want to go watch this."
Yeah, I understand. I appreciate you not saying something because it's always best to leave it out. If how would they know you're smoking pot?
Some people are very blatant about smoking pot. I watch a.
But wait. Obviously, if the streamer says that they are smoking pot, then that's a
Watch
violation.
me smoke it.
But is it also illegal to smoke a cigarette? Or not illegal, but is it against the Twitch rules to smoke a cigarette?
I do not think it's against the rules to smoke a cigarette.
May not be
Basically,
twisty.
You're not allowed to promote anything unlawful. Is basically the general term. Like,
gotcha.
And if you go on stream, let's say you're streaming like retro games, and you admit, "Oh yeah, I got this from the Pirate Bay, and I'm emulating it," that can also get you removed.
Okay. What if it's legal where you are to smoke pot?
I don't know
Too bad. This is the
rules
internet.
on that.
So, if you're not allowed to wear a bra and panties on your Twitch channel, then are you allowed to wear a swimsuit, a bathing suit, a bikini?
I suppose it would depend on the context. I mean, what if I'm streaming from my pool? Because there is like a category on Twitch called IRL
for in real life.
Okay.
Yeah. I think to protest this later,
Lots of
Ian
things
should throw a
happen in
bra
real
on.
life that are pornographic. I mean, I got to say.
That's true.
Absolutely.
I think that would violate the rules on nudity.
Once you're married, you turn off the lights to do it. But, I mean...
Hey, Stefan, good call. Thanks for making it tonight. I appreciate it. That's Stefan from Ohio. He's there on our Discord on-air call-in lines, which you can join by going to our Discord server at discord.lrn.fm. Harriet is on the line. I'm not sure if that's spelled correctly here or pronounced correctly. In Florida? Hello?
Topless Tuesdays, topless Tuesdays, topless.
Yeah, some people are excited about this.
We love topless Tuesdays.
Well,
baby.
I don't know
It's
if I
what we
believe
tune
it.
in for.
I don't know if I believe it. I mean, nobody's actually bidding in the Twitch chat room. I don't think you guys are serious about it.
Well, I'm dead serious. Mark, is that the other guy's name? Mark?
Yeah, Mark.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark,
He
why
looks
don't
much
you
better.
flip that sucker off? Flip that sucker off. It's topless Tuesdays.
Good
Come on.
Lord. You got to be kidding me. Look,
What do you mean you got to be kidding me? Your co-host has a thing called Topless Tuesdays where he
It's
hosts
true.
the show
We
topless,
used to. I
and you're
mean,
saying you
Conan
gotta
used to
be
come in
kidding
on
me?
Tuesday nights. And
I thought
we
it was
did-
Wednesday was topless.
No, because it's the alliteration. TT, Topless Tuesdays.
yeah.
Or no, maybe it was Thursday. I don't know.
Topless Thursday, that's it. Yeah.
Well,
Wasn't
whatever. it
Dale
was.
trying to
What's the
start
other
Thong
guy's name?
Thursdays or
What's
something?
the other guy?
Johnson is
Johnson
the
and
third
Mark.
That's right.
third host.
Hey, Johnson, what are the chances you pop yours off when we check out those nips of yours?
If you can, you can send me a coconut bra. I'll wear that on the air.
Really? That's a big promise. Thanks for the call here, and I appreciate it.
Has to be that guy who sends it, though.
He's totally got the stoner laugh, by the way. Garrett. Right at the very end. It totally sounded like a stoner laugh.
I know what he'd do with a coconut.
855
Turn it into a bomb.
450 free. That's 855-450-3733. You can bring up whatever you want here and take control of the airways. We still got more on so-called price gouging, and then we'll also look at a similar economic situation going on down in Venezuela, and it's not going to be good news. We're coming up. Free Talk Live.
Let's talk tough. Let's talk comfort. Let's talk about down-home value, made in the USA blue jeans, like you wore as a kid. Remember?
There's a place down in Tennessee where they make blue diamond gusset jeans. They show pride in every stitch, guarantee you love the way they fit. They put a diamond gusset in the crotch where you need it most. Blue Diamond Gusset's got it. others don't.
For good old-fashioned comfort, get Diamond Gusset jeans. Every stitch guaranteed. And our Defender motorcycle jean comes Kevlar reinforced. See them at GUSSET.com, that's gusset.com, or call 888-848-7738. That's 888-848-7738. Diamond Gusset jeans got it. Others don't.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, September 18th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.18 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,201 per ounce. Zen is trading at $15, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,329. Antiwar.com reports a widely expected military offensive against rebel-held Idlib province in northern Syria has been canceled, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. This follows a deal reached by Russia and Turkey to establish a new buffer zone in the area. The deal will see a 15 to 25 kilometer wide buffer zone established between government and rebel territory inside Idlib province. The rebels are to leave this area, which will be jointly patrolled by Turkey and Russia, and are to withdraw all heavy weapons from the area. This deal aims to push both the rebels further back towards the Turkish border and to preclude a military confrontation with Turkey itself, as they've been reinforcing their own position in Idlib in the recent days. This delays any reckoning for what's left of the rebel-held territory, but still appears not to have any specific associated plans for addressing the territorial dispute, nor the presence of a substantial al-Qaeda force in Syria beyond pushing them back a bit and starting a new buffer zone. In the meantime, this will both mean an end to the Syrian and Russian airstrikes against the province and put rebel artillery further away from the rest of the country, limiting civilian casualties. Whether a deal results afterwards is anyone's guess, but there still appears to be little interest in direct talks on either side. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They're working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform and generate income from them. This will allow Horizon to bring thousands of real-life services to the community, services that provide freedom, utility, and privacy. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. UPI reports while the full measure of Hurricane Florence's impact on the Carolinas has yet to be fully determined, there are early reports of floodwaters inundating and breaching coal ash landfills and hog waste lagoons. Duke Energy Corp., the largest electric provider in North Carolina, said on Monday there was a spill of coal ash at one landfill site near Wilmington and flooding at another near Goldsboro. Coal ash is the fine byproduct left over after coal is burned to generate electricity. The substance is typically stored in landfills or basins to prevent it from contaminating the air and environment, but the top of the 20-foot tall site at the LV Sutton power plant was washed into Lake Sutton, which connects to Cape Fear River. The company said in a statement the majority of displaced ash was collected at a perimeter ditch and haul road that surrounds the landfill and is on plant property. Meanwhile, water flooded another coal ash pond at Duke Energy's HF Lee plant. Before Florence made landfall as a Category 1 hurricane on Friday, environmental officials were concerned about its effect on the Carolinas industries, particularly hundreds of pig farms that were in the path. North Carolina is home to 9.7 million pigs that produce some 10 billion gallons of manure each year, all of which is stored in thousands of open lagoons dotting the state. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. Reuters reports the U.S. Air Force estimated startup cost for a proposed U.S. Space Force, a new military service backed by President Donald Trump, will be around $13 billion in the first 5 years, according to a Department of Defense memo seen by Reuters. The Air Force, the U.S. military branch that takes responsibility for space, authored the September 14th memo outlining a proposal for a lethality-focused organization that will field space superiority capabilities. The Trump administration in August announced an ambitious plan to usher in the force as the sixth branch of the military by 2020. It would require congressional approval. The Pentagon memo was written by Air Force Secretary Heather Wilson, a former member of Congress from New Mexico. The memo estimated that creating a Space Force will cost in excess of $3 billion in the first 12 months, with an additional $10 billion needed over the following 4 years. The U.S. Air Force estimated there could be more than 13,000 people in the new Department of the Space Force. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
This is the Onion Week in Review. A month after the death of leader Kim Jong-il, North Korea's 24.5 million citizens have returned to their regular daily routines this week, holding a festive synchronized disco jump rope gala in Pyongyang's main public square. Life in the hermetic communist nation is reportedly beginning to normalize following the protracted mourning period, with citizens once again donning their brightly colored uniforms and performing intricate gymnastics routines in perfect unison.
It is an inspiring sight to see so many loyal citizens find the strength to unfurl their long silken streamers and do dozens of tandem backflips set to dance music.
Observers reported that new North Korean leader Kim Jong-un nodded once in approval of the disco jump rope gala, signaling an official transfer of power.
A recent study from the Centers for Disease Control finds that over 100 million children are being exposed to harmful levels of stupidity in their own homes. Hear the debate about secondhand ignorance on the next In the Know.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the second hour of the program. You can take control of the airwaves. You can bring up what you want. And our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
By the way, we've been talking about so-called price gouging. There's an excellent opinion piece over at the Robsonian. It's Robsonian.com by somebody from the John Locke Foundation. His name is John Sanders, and he's done a good job so far. I want to continue with his piece here, talking about so-called price gouging, how the state is, of course, most states probably have these laws on the books, I would guess, probably a supermajority of them. And during some kind of a disaster, they come on out and the politicians start, pounding the pulpit about how righteous they are and how these darn merchants are just trying to gouge people, and they're going to take advantage of those who are just too poor at planning to be able to, buy some things before a hurricane hits. You get days of notice that the hurricane is coming your way. And then you don't have what you need, and then you run out, and you're shocked and angered that somebody would dare charge you more in a time of dire circumstances like this. And it's a perfect opportunity for politicians to win brownie points with people, to get out there and make it, look like that they care about you, to make it look like that they're worried about, what's going on in the marketplace and that they can do something about it.
And another thing we didn't mention is that if the guy at the gas station were to severely gouge, I'm not talking about doubling or tripling the price of water, or whatever the essential is.
You're talking about 10 times?
Yeah,
or?
10 times. So I mean, you're talking about a gallon of water for $20 or something. If he was to do that, then it's likely that he would face ramifications afterwards. He's got to live in that community.
That's true.
Usually, if you're going to find these price gouging water purveyors, you're going to find them people selling out of the back of a truck who are on their way. Off they go.
Yeah.
And
there's there's still market forces at work. So, let's say he says, I'm going to charge $100 a gallon.
Yep.
Well, there might be somebody price gouging for $20 a gallon down the block.
Right.
So, there's still market forces.
Market forces are there.
The
same thing that we rely on every day.
Well, so the gouging is still within the bounds of the market.
Whatever the market's willing to pay.
Right.
And, some people who aren't willing to price around, may not be aware of the other prices in the market, and that's your fault.
We call these people idiots.
It's your fault. Buyer beware. Go down the street, see if anybody else is open, see if you can get a better price.
But they're just victims of the hurricane.
Here's an idea. Offer a price, right? Like, prices are subject to negotiation. So, even if most circumstances they aren't, even if, most circumstances when you walk into a store and you say, I'm willing to give you 50 cents for that $1 candy bar, they're going to tell you no. In this circumstance, if you go in and say, well, that's too much for me, I'll pay you 10 for that, gallon of water, they might just say yes. Depends.
Right. If
they're flying off the shelf at $20, they're probably not going to say yes. But if they're having a tough time selling them, they might just say yes.
One important thing to point out is that if these the prices need to go up during crisis times, or if there's a high demand for water, which one would presume if you're going to be able to sell it at high prices, there's a high demand, then if you have to sell it at regular prices, somebody's going to buy all of it in the first go around. If I've got a pickup truck and you're selling water for $1 a gallon,
buy it all and then go sell it down the street for twice as much.
Well,
or 3 times
buy it
as
all
much.
so that I have plenty. Yeah. I'm washing my feet out in the kiddie pool while the generator's running, and whatever. Oh, you wanted water? Too bad. Because it's really important. Politicians have made it so that I can wash my feet with the water that your grandma would have survived with because, well, reasons.
WRAL has instituted that's a big radio station there, by the way, and
yeah,
TV. I think probably there's calls for TV, I would guess. But they've instituted a special price gouging tag on their website, suggesting the news service intends to start tracking so-called gouging incidents. Reporter Gerald Owens, in his interview with...
so they're documenting acts of heroism.
In his interview with the Attorney General, Josh Stein, implied that it is the, quote, worst of people and talked of folks being, quote, scammed. Scammed? No, these are signal flares calling for more supplies.
Yep.
Rather than being scams taking advantage of desperate people, higher prices are exactly what we need to ensure that we don't run out of necessities like water and gas. They're like flashing red lights to bottled water suppliers, bread makers, and gasoline distributors in other states, telling them, yes, you can redirect your stuff to North Carolina because you can still take care of your families when you do. Rising prices are like signal flares, as economist Art Carden puts it. They're saying bring supplies from where they're plentiful to where they aren't. And there's other examples of this signaling in action, even just within a certain company, like Uber, for instance, where they have what they call their surge pricing.
Surge pricing, yeah, that's what it's called.
And some people would call this price gouging, right? Because it's in an area of high demand, right. Prices go up.
Concert lets out. 50,000 people want to go home.
Right.
And surge pricing kicks in for the next hour or hour and a half.
Correct.
As people who left their houses to go Uber drive to get you from one place to another, who left their families, left their fun, whatever they were doing.
They were doing something.
They came out to ride share with you. Now you're bitter that you're having to pay more? Don't go to the concert.
Or walk home.
It's always that.
Or call a cab and wait 2 hours.
Right. Go to the bar, have a couple of drinks, pay less.
While you wait for the surge to go away. Yeah. And by the way, of course, in the case of an Uber, they do alert you that, hey, you're going to pay twice as much for this ride. You're okay with that, right? And people all day and all night will say,
sometimes
they're
it's
fine
3 or
with
4
it.
times.
Right. It can be as up to 9 times.
I had to basically pay for it at 1.2, and I had the choice.
You were in a rush, right?
It was a long train ride, and there had been delays in the train ride. I'm in D.C. I need to get to my Airbnb at a reasonable time, and try something close to a reasonable time. It was 11:30 by the time I got there. I'm tired. I'm ready to go home.
Because if enough drivers were on the app, then there wouldn't be a surge price. Because the reason why the surge price exists, it's not because Uber necessarily knows that there's a concert. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they're aware. They'll send out a notice to their drivers saying, it's Thanksgiving. You should be out on the road because people need rides. or there's a big concert. Sometimes they know. But if all of a sudden there's an increased demand in a certain area, sometimes it's because of disastrous weather, by the way, where the increased demand for rides happens, then what's happening is the reason why the surge happens is because there aren't enough drivers on the road to handle the demand. So therefore, Uber says, oh crap, we don't have enough drivers to be able to instantly send somebody to whoever is needing a ride. That's when they increase the rates. There's an algorithm or whatever that does it, but that's when they increase the rates. And then every other driver that's at home, just hanging out with their family or doing whatever it is they're doing on their off time, then they get a ping on their phone saying, hey, surge pricing's happening in your area. You know, if you want to make some money, hit the road.
Now's the time to hit the road.
And that's how they supply the demand. Same thing here. Rather than, again, saying scams that are taking advantage, these are scams, they're saying it's like a signal. Cardin, the economist, was talking about a price gouging example, so-called, from Raleigh after Hurricane Fran, which he heard about from economist Mike Munger, who was at Duke University at the time. Look at it from the supplier's perspective. It costs money to change your supply plans, to disrupt your expected distribution of goods, and to ship stuff longer distances. If you can't at least break even doing it, you'll lose money, and that means you'd hurt your family's interests. If you're going to make a switch, you'll do it when you can get more money in return for taking on greater personal costs. That means going where the prices are higher. You'll get more money in an area with greater desire for your stuff. This is what economists call demand. People are going to be more willing to spend money on bottled water than people who still have access to tap water, or see things at your local retailer sees them. You're not sure when your next shipment's going to arrive. What you have on hand may be all you have left. Plus, you don't know who has a real need and who's just hoarding, as far as your customers are.
Right.
The better way to make sure the people who need it the most are still able to get it is to charge the higher price that reflects your greater temporary inability to access fresh supplies. This discourages hoarding and leaves necessities more available to those with greater needs. Because if you really, really, really need the water, if it's priced higher, you're going to pay the price. But if you don't really need it, you're just buying it because it's cheap, well, then you're not going to buy a whole pallet full of water because you can't afford it. You can't justify the cost. There's more coming up here in moments, a little bit more on so-called price gouging, but you can also share your thoughts on this. Maybe you are in favor of these laws. We'd love to have somebody try to defend this, because the government sure will defend them. They're acting like they're saving you and they're helping you. More coming up.
This November, I'll be running the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, as a member of Team Innocence Project. The Innocence Project was the first legal organization to systematically apply DNA testing to cases of wrongful convictions as a powerful tool to reveal innocence. So far in 2018, the Innocence Network has welcomed 32 wrongfully convicted people home from prison for crimes they did not commit and had a record-breaking 850 people unite in Memphis at their annual conference. The movement of freeing the innocent and reforming the criminal justice system is growing and would not be possible without your support. Together as 68 network organizations around the world, they've helped exonerate 513 people who spent a combined total of 7,804 years in prison. They've also worked together to pass over 150 laws in the U.S. to help prevent wrongful convictions. You can support the Innocence Project by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa, And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can take control of the airwaves here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. This program brought to you by Bitcoin.com, where they recommend, if you want to save big time on your purchases at Amazon, that you can go to SaveItPurse.com and then deposit Bitcoin Cash into your Save It Purse account, because Save It Purse is a website that allows you to save up to 33% off of your products that you're wanting to purchase from Amazon. So if you're a real good hurricane planner, you can order your stuff before there's even a hurricane that's on the horizon and save big time on it. Recently, I saved 29% on a bunch of stuff that I ordered through Amazon because I used SaveItPurse.com. It's SaveAtPurse.com, and now they are accepting Bitcoin Cash as your deposit currency over at Save It Purse. So go to SaveAtPurse.com, and then don't forget to go to Bitcoin.com to learn more about Bitcoin cryptocurrency if you're new to that, or maybe you want to get the latest news headlines. They've got those too over at news.bitcoin.com. As we continue, hear a little bit more about so-called price gouging. This is from the Robsonian. John P. Sanders, the author and director of regulatory studies at the John Locke Foundation. He's doing everything he can to rebuff the bad economics of these politicians and bureaucrats and others who support these so-called price gouging laws. So he says here, those shelves are empty because of our anti-price gouging law, he says. Prices are signals, and when that signal is too low for conditions on the ground, people will buy too much. When that happens, we run out. A state law that forbids pricing based on conditions on the ground and backs that up with threats of fines and being taken to court makes it harder to bring in fresh supplies after that same state law helps us run out of those existing supplies. But what about the people so-called being taken advantage of? Well, the thing is, when the government dictates prices to prevent consumers from being taken advantage of by higher prices during a natural disaster, it's telling suppliers they're going to be taken advantage of. Laws against price gouging are laws that tell suppliers they can't break even. In practice, they're signal flares telling suppliers, stay away from there.
That's what it is.
Government can't outlaw the temporary greater scarcity driving the higher out-of-whack prices, but government can control some of the costs of supplying goods, regulatory costs. In 2016, responding to the temporary gasoline supply shock from the Colonial Pipeline shutdown, Governor Pat McCrory signed an executive order lightening state regulations on gasoline suppliers. In 2017, Cooper did the same thing following Hurricane Harvey. Friday, when Cooper declared the state of emergency, he also issued an executive order suspending several truck driving, weight, size, etc. restrictions, registration requirements, and fines for utility service trucks and trucks carrying food and essential supplies. This could help offset bad effects from the anti-price gouging law. Cutting regulatory costs is the right call to make. It's interesting. So a temporary cutback in regulations in some areas due to the disaster situation, which, of course, why, if it works during a disaster, wouldn't you just go ahead and cut them back permanently and allow more, trucks and things like that?
Well, because the government needs, demands revenue, and that's where they get their revenue. What they understand is that their regulations and their taxes and their interference in the marketplace causes an inefficiency that drives away business. And that when they want more business being done in a particular time, they pull it out. So when you think about the back-to-school situation, the government creates an artificial demand in pencils, pens, papers, trapper keepers. Do they still have those? I hope so.
I think they're making a comeback. I think they're still out there.
Whatever it is that kids need for school, and I'm not entirely clear on what those things are. My son is homeschooled, and he was in his pajamas until 4 yesterday. So whatever it is, they create the demand for it, and then they have they'll have the back to school tax sale where they rebate for like 1 weekend or something. Whatever items it is that people buy for back to school. So first they create the demand, and then they create the the further incentive to bring the stuff in the marketplace. It's weird. It's the government breaks your leg and then hands you a crutch.
Yep, Trapper Keeper's still out there, Mark. I don't know if they're as popular as they once were because, computers and all that, smartphones, tablets, probably you don't need as much. I don't know. Do they still have papers in schools these days? They probably do, right?
They must, right? I mean, people still want kids to be able to write.
Government doesn't change that quickly anyway.
And, you got to find out. There's got to be some place where they can tell you how many teaspoons is in a quart.
All right, so if you want to comment, you're welcome to do so. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. We can talk about Venezuela in a little bit, but Johnson, you had a story about some job advertising on Facebook that was worth talking about?
Yeah, sure. So apparently, according to the ACLU, Facebook is illegally excluding women. And this is where it gets kind of weird because
I've been on Facebook. There's women there.
But apparently, Facebook's advertising platform is being used by prospective employers to discriminate against women, according to a filing with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. The American Civil Liberties Union, joined by a labor union and a law firm that specializes in representing employees, filed a written charge on Tuesday against Facebook with the EEOC, the federal agency that enforces anti-discrimination laws in the workplace. The charge asks for an investigation of the social media company and an injunction against what it calls discriminatory practices at a company with a sizable influence over the U.S. labor market. It also claims that Facebook's system violates the anti-discrimination provisions of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. The social network has faced sustained criticism for years that it fails to stop discriminatory ads of various kinds, from housing ads that exclude certain races to job ads targeted at only younger workers.
Okay, wait a minute. So
essentially what they're saying is that if you're advertising for housing or a job or anything that would fall under the Civil Rights Protection Act, you can't use Facebook ad targeting controls because that would be illegal. That's what they're gunning for now.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
So they're not saying that the advertisement itself is saying only men need apply. They're saying that these advertising
The advertisers are doing illegal practices by using Facebook's ad targeting controls.
which allow you to only target women or men or people in a certain area or people who have an interest in, drinking at bars or
it's
whatever.
It's redlining for the 21st century.
Redlining?
Redlining is like a practice where you are advertising to only particular markets. I mean, it was
redlining was specifically was a map drawn in the Chicago area that said the black people can live here or can't live here. Basically, was the idea. So I guess I have some questions.
Me too.
First off, if I can't put an ad up and then target what I consider for my labor market. Maybe I've got people swinging hammers for a construction site. If
I'm a tech company, I'm going to add to octogenarians.
Right, I need to advertise to 80-year-old women
or children or something.
Right, or
lift
something
a hammer.
stupid. It doesn't make any sense. What about radio stations? I'm asked for my demographics in every single time we talk. And here's a little news for you, folks. Women tend not to listen to Free Talk Live.
They tend not to listen to talk radio.
They tend not to listen to Free Talk Live and radio and all that stuff. But
they listen to radio, just not talk radio.
All of our demos specifically are male. We've got younger demos for podcasts. We've got older demos for AM radio, but
it's 80% male, basically.
It's male,
right?
It's 75.
More coming up here in moments.
You're sexist.
8:55, 450 free, or the reverse. What about
not interesting to women.
There's more on the way here. It's Free Talk
That's
Live.
Sexist.
When you use public Wi-Fi, hackers and identity thieves can see anything you do online. Embarrassing photos, your web history, even your passwords. That's why I use private internet access to encrypt my internet connection for less than 10 cents a day. Sign up now at privateinternetaccess.com, and in just a few minutes, you'll be browsing anonymously and only sharing what you want to share. privateinternetaccess.com. It's time to protect your online privacy.
Bacon lovers, we ship free. Try our amazing bacon. No refrigeration required. Proprietary value-added packaging provides 10 years shelf life and protects the leanest, thickest, center-cut, fully cooked bacon in America today. Ready to eat right from the pouch or warm and serve. Savory and delicious. Wholesale price for your everyday use. Order today at readytoeatbacon.com. readytoeatbacon.com.
Last month, the FDA approved Hallucex, a new class of weight loss drug that helps users avoid overeating by producing nightmarish hallucinations whenever food is around. Hallucex targets the brain's cerebral cortex, stimulating the centers responsible for fear and visual processing. Test subjects reported an unprecedented decrease in appetite and showed dramatic weight loss, with only 18% reporting night terrors or subsequent cardiac arrest.
It's designed to make fatty and sugary foods even scarier. An apple just looks like it has fangs, but a milkshake will threaten you and your family by name.
Earlier incarnations of the drug proved to be too powerful and produced mental states in which test subjects no longer believed that food had ever existed. An unshakable belief that the subject had to eat all of the food on the planet in order to prevent food from rising up and destroying the human race.
No, you don't understand. I have to do this.
Or the conviction that food could be negotiated with diplomatically. With the Lab Report, I'm Aisha Patel.
This is the Onion News Network.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can take control of the airwaves here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. With you tonight, it's Ian. Oops, sorry, Johnson. Try that again.
Dan Johnson.
And Mark.
855-450-3733. Or we've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms that are open and available to you. You'll sound almost like you're sitting in the studio with us if you join us over at discord.lrn.fm. And
That's right. You'll sound like you're in here with Ian with his shirt off.
It's true.
Together.
AnyPay is
I don't know if I can sound that horrified.
Excellent system for accepting cryptocurrency at point of sale. And Dash is back online, by the way, as of a couple days ago. AnyPay got Dash back up and running for Dash acceptance, so that's good news. And they're working behind the scenes hard at AnyPay to make sure that everything is working well, and they're adding new features. And I'm excited about the direction things are going there. I don't know if I want to say what they're working on behind the scenes because they haven't authorized me to, so I probably shouldn't.
It's like, how much Dash back would you get as long as Dash back gets Dash back?
It's not nice to tease Dash back because
one of those beaver woodchuck. How much woodchuck chuck kind of things.
It's not nice to tease Dash back, Johnson, because you can't get Dash back unless you shop in New Hampshire with cryptocurrency. So that's something that's exclusive to New Hampshire retail, and it's courtesy of the folks over at AnyPay. That gives a 10%. Right now, Dashback is set at 10%. So every time you spend Dash in Keene at any Dash accepting location, or out in Portsmouth, for instance, or Murphy's Tap Room in Manchester, you'll get 10% back as long as Dashback is up and running. But if you're not in New Hampshire, sorry, you can't do that. But AnyPay is still great as far as accepting cryptocurrency payments at your point of sale. So if you're at a retailer and you want to do that, then go over to anypay.global and get started. It is super easy to get signed up. There's no approval process. There's no government paperwork. It's just create your username and password, put your cryptocurrency wallet addresses in the back end, and then load the app on the tablet at your register. That's it. You're done. It's that easy. Anypay.global. As we continue here, Johnson, you've been telling us about this news that Facebook is under fire for basically accepting advertising from people who want to target an ad to a specific demographic, but this particular advertising is, so let's say for housing or to purchase or to get a job somewhere, that they're targeting the ad to, say, only males between a certain age range, and the government saying you have to target these ads to everybody on Facebook.
So there's some links in this article, and actually during the break I jumped over to another article, so I'd actually like to read a little bit from that one too. So just to recap here, it says the social network has faced sustained criticism for years that it fails to stop discriminatory ads of various kinds, from housing ads that exclude certain races to job ads targeted only at younger workers. In August, Facebook said it would remove 5,000 targeted advertising options from its platform in an effort to prevent discrimination. And then I saw that it was a link, and I'm like, what? They're like making Facebook worse. And so
well, that's sort of been the history of Facebook.
So I went to look, and it says that they are removing 5,000 targeted advertising functions. The move limits advertisers from excluding users based on ethnicity and religion. They follow investigations that found that Facebook's automated advertising system, which allowed brands to target people by affinities, would also allow marketers to exclude certain groups.
So I can't, if you're, Johnson, you're an atheist. If you wanted to advertise an atheist group to only atheists, now you can't do that because you have to advertise to everybody who has a religious belief?
Apparently not. So I would advertise to people that, for example, maybe have liked the Flying Spaghetti Monster or something like that, is probably how you would have to do it. So you'd have to be creative about how you're doing this, and I'm sure that's going to become a whole new cottage industry. But but it says here, for example, preventing Black and Latino users from seeing housing advertisements. Last week, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development said in its administrative complaint that the social network violated the Fair Housing Act over its targeting systems. Facebook said it was working with HUD to address its concerns. Examples of targeted advertising flagged by HUD include, among others, showing ads only to users interested in the Christian church or the Bible, and not showing ads to users interested in accessibility or deaf culture. HUD alleges it's...
So they're saying you have to restrict interests even.
Yeah, apparently, some to a certain extent. HUD alleges...
I want to know how they figured this out. Like,
yeah.
You don't know. I mean, Facebook isn't going to show you every single ad, when you're on their site that's interested in targeting you. The advertiser only has a certain budget, right? So once they've exhausted their budget, then their ad stops running. So if you log in, if you've got two accounts on Facebook, one is you as a black person, one is you as a white person, and that's the only difference between the accounts, and you log in there and you look and you're trying to write down which advertisements you're seeing on one account versus which advertisements you're seeing on the other. You can't draw a conclusion from that because it may just simply be random chance that Facebook didn't serve you as the black you the particular advertisement in question. So I wonder how they, came up with these allegations in the first place.
I mean, does this mean that if I'm trying to advertise to, like I have some, products that are like Che Guevara shirts, that I can't target people who are interested in theft anymore? I mean, just like what? How do I do this?
This was originally about male and female disparities, and male unemployment has been higher historically. I'm just looking here, and I'm seeing the male to female unemployment rate over the course of the last few decades, ending in, it looks like 2017. And men are more unemployed than women are generally. So what's the complaint here, ladies? I mean, I'm not sure what the complaint is. So men are getting offered different jobs? I think that's been going on all along.
Well, it may not be women that are the complaining parties here. It may be
they
some
have to find
bureaucrat.
some woman who's complaining in order to bring the suit.
It could be some bureaucrat who's investigating in this particular case.
Not for the ACL to bring a suit.
Oh, it's the ACLU that's suing? Okay.
I mean, I think that definitely we should be, like if a company is trying to target an ad to like sell children's toys or something like that, or to sell, let's say, to sell bras. We can't. Why would we be targeting women? That's sexist. How could you do that? It just doesn't. I mean, at some point this is going to be ridiculous, and there's going to be.
It's already ridiculous.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course.
I mean, this comes up at the radio conventions quite a bit too, where
bras.
No, where we were talking about ethnic disparities, right? So people who work at black-oriented or what they call urban formats will complain that they don't get those same jobs that the people who are being offered, the sort of the rock format. And I guess one's
jobs?
telling you.
Radio doesn't have jobs anymore.
No, they're off the job, the same job-oriented ads, or even the same ads generally. They just don't get the same budget. They're not getting as big a piece of the pie. But no one's telling you that because of your color, what a format of radio station you have to do.
No.
Right? We could stop Free Talk Live, switch off the mics right now, and begin playing accordion music if that's what we wanted to do.
We'd lose affiliates pretty quickly.
Like
once
they would drop like
out.
flies.
Yeah.
The flies don't drop as quickly. They would fly like lead balloons.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it's what we could do, and then we could attempt to sell accordion music, nationally syndicated accordion music. Not sure who would buy that or anything, but no one's telling us.
We might gain some like Weird Al fans.
We wish we could rock an accordion like Weird Al.
Is there more?
Yeah, sure. So, the article goes on here saying, through precise targeting ads to men, potentially millions of women were denied the ability to see job ads by employers on Facebook, according to a statement from the ACLU, the Communications Workers of America, and the Outen and Golden law firm. CWA represents some NBC News employees. This article is from, I believe, NBC. The charge to the EEOC on Tuesday alleges that gender-based discrimination is still designed into Facebook's self-serve ad system because it automatically asks someone, creating a new ad if they want to target a specific gender. Facebook gender isn't even real.
Right. On one hand, gender's not real. On the other hand, you're discriminating against
the specific
this
gender.
thing.
Which of the 97,000 genders are they targeting? So Facebook makes this discrimination achievable through a quick and easy process. The charge says any employment agency, corporation, or individual who has a Facebook page can create and purchase a paid ad that will be sent to the other Facebook users within minutes of Facebook receiving payment for the ad.
All right, there's more coming up here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. If you want to join us here, 855-450-3733. Also, the Discord on-air call-in line rooms are available to you at discord.lrn.fm. Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. That's AnyPay.global.
Zencash is now Horizen. Horizen is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizen platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizen will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizen, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at Horizen.global. Horizen.global.
Hi, I'm Dan Pilla. I started fighting the IRS over 40 years ago when they tried to seize my mother's house. I sued the IRS and won. I beat the IRS then, and I've been beating them ever since. I wrote the book on tax debt settlement, and I've helped thousands of people deal with tax problems they thought might never be solved. I can help you too. If you owe taxes you can't pay, don't wait another day. There's no such thing as a hopeless tax case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to my website, danpilla.com. That's danpilla.com, danpilla.com.
When you use public Wi-Fi, hackers and identity thieves can see anything you do online. Embarrassing photos, your web history, even your passwords. That's why I use private internet access to encrypt my internet connection for less than 10 cents a day. Sign up now at privateinternetaccess.com, and in just a few minutes, you'll be browsing anonymously and only sharing what you want to share. privateinternetaccess.com. It's time to protect your online privacy.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love,
and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way.
Love as your guide.
And liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Lil Drums. Every bit as fun as a full-size Nestle drumstick cone and definitely cuter. Visit us at drumstick.com. Vacations are all about family time, but you don't have to leave home to have fun. Take 1 weekend a month and devote it to family activities. Pull out the board games and puzzles, serve up some treats, or have a picnic. Even without leaving home, you'll feel like you've really had some time away. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial in, toll free, take control of the airwaves here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Also, we've got our Discord on-air call-in line rooms. And you can join the fun over at the Discord server. There's chat that goes on there basically all day and all night. There's people, I've seen people chatting at 4 or 5 in the morning Eastern time. There's actually people in different time zones, actually, that use the Discord server. Young lady in Australia gets on at like 5 in the morning our time, and it's probably in the afternoon her time, and she's chatting away with whatever late nighters are in there. So head on over to discord.lrn.fm. You can get interactive there with other Free Talk Live listeners, some of which are longtime listeners of the show. Some of the callers you hear on the air, you'll see there in those chat rooms. And there's different topics to be discussed, everything from cryptocurrency to gaming and other things. It's free, by the way, to use the Discord server. And then, of course, during the show, you can call in on the Discord on-air call-in line rooms, because Discord's kind of a mix of both text chat rooms and also audio chat rooms. Yeah. So you can get into an audio chat with other listeners. Sometimes they'll go into the audio rooms after the show and just chat openly. But most of the time, people are in the text room. So head on over to discord.lrn.fm. As we continue here, of course, we'll take your calls and thoughts. We've been talking about apparently a lawsuit now filed by the ACLU. And there's a lot that the ACLU here in New Hampshire does that I like. I hear less about the national ACLU that I like, and this is one of those stories that I'm not a fan of, because I think that ultimately you should be able to discriminate with your advertising. Essentially, the ACLU is saying advertisers are violating some kind of federal equal opportunity law by selecting the demographics that they want to advertise to.
You may pay to reach no one. You may pay to reach someone, but you may not pay to reach. You may pay to reach anyone, but you may not pay to reach someone. Like
someone specific.
You can't be specific. That's basically what they're saying.
Can the ACLU go ahead and file suit against the Lifetime Television Network too while we're at it? Because I don't know if y'all remember cable television where they have the Lifetime channel. I presume it still exists.
Men cannot be discriminated against, you stinking sexist. What's wrong with you?
Because it's a channel for women, ostensibly. All the programming is directed toward women.
That's sexist.
The advertising, I suspect you're going to find if you watch Lifetime, is likely targeted towards women.
Right. This is the funniest part about this whole thing is, from an advertising standpoint, I can tell you this: women are somewhere between 170% to 300% more valuable than men.
Because they're more likely to hold the purse strings in a household.
This reminds me of the last show.
Well, this is important. Like, they have the money. She who holds the purse makes the rules.
Right. Who's the most discriminating person? And discriminating is kind of used in a little bit of a different term, but it's not really that different, is you have discriminating customers. This strikes me a lot like when we were talking, a couple weeks ago, last time I was on, about... what was it? It was like employer-employee relationships, and how you're getting this one-sided relationship about how laws that target how employers can hire and who they can hire and a lot of stuff like anti-discriminatory laws. But when you think about it, employees are able to discriminate all they want.
Against the employer.
Against the employer. And, it's just this, again, it's subtle communism, because they're trying to establish this one-sided relationship in advertisers can't be discriminatory in choosing how they advertise, but customers can discriminate all they want.
Sure.
Right? Because that's what's going to happen, and that's going to happen to Facebook. Guess what, Facebook? If your advertiser can't be discriminatory and use and pick how they advertise and you make them spend way more money, then what's going to happen? Those advertisers as customers are going to be discriminating and choose other advertising platforms, and you die.
Well, until the government gets its paws into every single advertising platform. I mean, first they came for Facebook, then they came for, whoever's next after that, Twitter and the Lifetime Network.
It's just going to keep progressing until the discrimination rules out democracy, right? Rules out the ability to to choose, because that's a form of discrimination, right? You're choosing one candidate or another. That's that usage again, the different usage of being discriminating. Do you choose Donald Trump or do you choose, Hillary Clinton? You're discriminating, right? Take a bullet in the head of choosing one of those, right? But it is a form of discrimination, right? You're being discriminating. That's what it is. It's making a choice, and that's what ultimately these people want you to not have.
So, and
it's a choice.
This is why, and you called it communism. You called it like a subtle form of communism. This is why I accused Chris Cantwell of being a communist. Why I said I couldn't tell the difference between him and the guy Marcel, who was the so-called gay anarchist who turned commie and has since left Keene.
Who supposedly has an IQ of like 80. From what I've heard, or maybe 60. I've been told he is so stupid that all he does is parrots people.
Well, he's not the only person who's gone commie. I mean, Amanda Bolden is a state representative who originally claimed to be an anarchist when she moved here. But
I've been told Marcel is like, and I just don't believe it after having had several conversations with him.
He seemed intelligent.
He's supposedly, all he's doing is parroting people, but apparently he's completely mentally handicapped and not like even capable of functioning like a normal adult on his own. That's what I've been told by a group of people, and I'm like,
I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I mean, the point is, he's only one example of a few different people. I can think of a handful of folks who were not stupid, who moved here and were supposedly libertarian or anarchists, and then became socialists after the fact. So I accused Chris of this because for listeners who weren't listening over the last several days, and you weren't here for this conversation, Chris called in to rehash a conversation that he and I had had in person, where he tried to tell me why he believed the government needs to get involved in auditing the code of Twitter and Facebook. And it's the same exact reasoning, just from Chris's perspective. Right. So from his perspective, these Facebooks and Twitters are using their algorithms to promote certain types of politicians, to promote certain political viewpoints, that a certain leftist viewpoint is more likely to get shown, for instance, on
that's the claim
on Facebook. And so Chris is now calling for government intervention into the area of these social networking platforms, in the same way that others, like the ACLU, are calling for government intervention into the advertising algorithms of these social platforms. And it didn't matter all the examples of what I said to him of, hey, you should know better than asking the government to do something for you to get into these people's code, because that would be an unprecedented change for, some government code auditing organization to become into existence, right? Because we don't have that right now, where if you want to put up a website, you don't have to submit your website to the government code office and have them check it over to make sure it's non-discriminatory, to make sure that it's also non-discriminatory in viewpoint.
We don't have a government code office, but it's getting close with things like this.
It's getting close, yeah, that's what I'm saying, which is why I accused him of being a communist, because he's doing the exact same thing. He wants these things to become public entities. That's basically what they're doing. They're like converting Facebook from a public or from a private corporation.
But he's not a
government.
communist. He's not a socialist. He's a national socialist.
So the toll-free number here tonight is 855-450-FREE. Look, anybody who's advocating for this, be very careful. Whether you're coming at it from the right or the left, if you're asking for the government to regulate websites, it's going to be very bad. It's going to be very, very bad for freedom of speech.
They came for those websites, then they're going
to come for you, because you're not going to be able to keep control. Number one, you don't get to write the laws. So even if they do have some sort of system that they impose, you won't be the one designing it. So it likely won't be done in the way that you want it to be done. But even if it is done in the way that you want it to be done initially, you won't be the one running the program full of bureaucrats who are the enforcers in this particular case. And each bureaucrat gets to interpret the law in the way they want to. And then they can come in and try to enforce it upon you in the way they want to. Ultimately, then you have to challenge it and go to court and all this. I don't want to deal with that with internet, because the internet's a big place. You can put up your own website. If you don't like Facebook's algorithms, build your own platform.
It's probably the one issue where Cantwell and Bernie Sanders agree.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's horseshoe theory, right? I don't know if you've ever heard of horseshoe theory. So horseshoe theory is
where the two sides come around and meet.
Yeah, exactly. The two sides of the political spectrum, in a horseshoe, they start getting closer and closer to get towards the end, where they become more similar to each other than centrists.
Yeah.
Yeah. That the extremists on both sides of the political spectrum become more similar to each other than centrists.
Right. The idea that Facebook has become so big that it should now be a public entity, that it should now, and maybe it is public. Maybe you can
nationalize it.
Can you buy stock in Facebook? I don't know.
Yes.
Okay, so it's a public company and that you can buy stock in it, but they really do want to
Zuckerberg is very clearly in the 1% of the 1% of the 1% of the 1%.
They really do want that, though. They really want to nationalize, and so do the people on the right.
You're lucky you took that DNA test and you came out 0.2% Ashkenazi, or you wouldn't be able to make that joke.
All right, there's more on the way here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450.
I can't hang out with Cantwell now either.
3733.
Same here.
Hour number 3 coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
You will not replace us.
God.
Folks, this is very important information. What's to be said about CBD? AncientLifeOil.com. Our CBD is made from hemp and has 0.003 THC, which means this wonderful product won't get you high, no matter what amount you take. What does CBD do for the body? My hands are tied, but you can Google CBD benefits and be astounded. When you're finished reading, you'll want to log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. and purchase. Life is good when you feel good. People are tired of pain. People are asking for non-GMO organic products to help them with you fill in the blank. Legal in 49 states, and again, our CBD is made from hemp. Ancient Life Oil is about helping people one by one by one. If you wonder how good the product is, the CEO takes it every day without miss. AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Have a great day.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to SaveItPurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. SaveItPurse.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, September 18th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.18 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,201 per ounce. Zen is trading at $15, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,329. Antiwar.com reports a widely expected military offensive against rebel-held Idlib province in northern Syria has been canceled, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. This follows a deal reached by Russia and Turkey to establish a new buffer zone in the area. The deal will see a 15 to 25 kilometer wide buffer zone established between government and rebel territory inside Idlib province. The rebels are to leave this area, which will be jointly patrolled by Turkey and Russia, and are to withdraw all heavy weapons from the area. This deal aims to push both the rebels further back towards the Turkish border and to preclude a military confrontation with Turkey itself, as they've been reinforcing their own position in Idlib in the recent days. This delays any reckoning for what's left of the rebel-held territory, but still appears not to have any specific associated plans for addressing the territorial dispute, nor the presence of a substantial al-Qaeda force in Syria beyond pushing them back a bit and starting a new buffer zone. In the meantime, this will both mean an end to the Syrian and Russian airstrikes against the province and put rebel artillery further away from the rest of the country, limiting civilian casualties. Whether a deal results afterwards is anyone's guess, but there still appears to be little interest in direct talks on either side. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They're working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform and generate income from them. This will allow Horizon to bring thousands of real-life services to the community. Services that provide freedom, utility, and privacy. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. UPI reports while the full measure of Hurricane Florence's impact on the Carolinas has yet to be fully determined, there are early reports of floodwaters inundating and breaching coal ash landfills and hog waste lagoons. Duke Energy Corp, the largest electric provider in North Carolina, said on Monday there was a spill of coal ash at one landfill site near Wilmington and flooding at another near Goldsboro. Coal ash is the fine byproduct left over after coal is burned to generate electricity. The substance is typically stored in landfills or basins to prevent it from contaminating the air and environment, but the top of the 20-foot tall site at the LV Sutton power plant was washed into Lake Sutton, which connects to Cape Fear River. The company said in a statement the majority of displaced ash was collected at a perimeter ditch and haul road that surrounds the landfill and is on plant property. Meanwhile, water flooded another coal ash pond at Duke Energy's HF Lee plant. Before Florence made landfall as a Category 1 hurricane on Friday, environmental officials were concerned about its effect on the Carolinas industries, particularly hundreds of pig farms that were in the path. North Carolina is home to 9.7 million pigs that produce some 10 billion gallons of manure each year, all of which is stored in thousands of open lagoons dotting the state. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. Reuters reports the U.S. Air Force estimated startup cost for a proposed U.S. Space Force, a new military service backed by President Donald Trump, will be around $13 billion in the first 5 years, according to a Department of Defense memo seen by Reuters. The Air Force, the U.S. military branch that takes responsibility for space, authored the September 14th memo outlining a proposal for a lethality-focused organization that will field space superiority capabilities. The Trump administration in August announced an ambitious plan to usher in the force as the sixth branch of the military by 2020. It would require congressional approval. The Pentagon memo was written by Air Force Secretary Heather Wilson, a former member of Congress from New Mexico. The memo estimated that creating a Space Force will cost in excess of $3 billion in the first 12 months, with an additional $10 billion needed over the following 4 years. The U.S. Air Force estimated there could be more than 13,000 people in the new Department of the Space Force. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Shortly after accidentally clicking like on nearly 400 of his ex-girlfriend's Facebook photos earlier today, panicked area man Adam Nuensing spoke to Onion reporters about his mistake.
Damn it, I was just looking at one of Rebecca's Instagram photos that showed up on my newsfeed, and the next thing I know, I just liked every single photo that she posted over the last 4 years. I didn't mean to, but it just kind of happened.
The 28-year-old told reporters that he had browsed through 14 of his ex-girlfriend's photo albums while inadvertently clicking like on each and every picture, including dozens from her office picnic last fall, her trip to New York in 2010, and a photo of her and her first boyfriend from 2006.
I thought if I went back and clicked unlike on all those pictures that maybe she wouldn't get any notifications. But then I saw some other albums and I ended up liking 80 more photos and shared them on my wall. Shit.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program. As always, we'll take your calls about whatever's on your mind. Just dial in toll free to join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Or jump into our Discord on-air call-in line rooms. And you'll sound almost like you're sitting in the studio with us. The studio folks include me, Ian.
And me, Johnson.
And, well, me, Mark.
First up, we go to those Discord lines where Michael is on the line calling us from New Hampshire. Michael, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Hi, guys. Good evening.
Welcome.
I want to talk about the Facebook, this discrimination, anti-discrimination nonsense. I understand it's a private company and they can be silly. Just want to throw out a data point because my wife is a realtor in southern New Hampshire. As far as I know, the only full-time active realtor who also speaks Russian and one more language in the southern New Hampshire, and the best. So what she tried to do on her Facebook page is to be more inclusive as far as, she serves English customers and customers who speak any other language. But she tried to put some Russian text on her cover photo of Facebook saying that Marika is your Russian-speaking agent. And that was blocked and flagged by Facebook as breaking those rules.
What?
Right. They said it's too targeted or it's for a specific ethnic group or something like that. I forget what it was.
And this was her cover photo, meaning that it, for listeners who aren't familiar, Facebook at the top of your page on Facebook allows you ostensibly to put whatever photo you want there. You're saying she put a photograph, a graphic that had text in the graphic, and somebody must have reported it, right? Because there wouldn't be a Facebook algorithm to catch something like that.
It was part of the image, superimposed within the image of a house, and it said, Marika is your Russian-speaking agent.
Right. There's no way. I mean, it seems very unlikely that Facebook's image algorithm is going to detect superimposed text in Russian and then, translate it.
Every Cyrillic letter, they go right after it. But I mean, these people co-opted our election, for God's sakes.
Maybe, yeah. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult to scan images either, Ian.
No, it's not that difficult to scan
OCR.
To scan images. That's true. But the more noise there is behind text, the more difficult it is. That's why those "Are you a human?" things, the CAPTCHAs, that you have to type in characters. There's always like noise behind. There's lines or dots or something like that behind the actual letters. Sometimes it's so damn noisy, it's hard to figure out what the letters are.
Right.
So it's so confusing as an actual human. So I mean to believe that they've actually got some kind of algorithm that's going to detect text over an image, translate it, and determine whether or not it's commercial-related text and somehow excluding some... I mean, that just seems too unbelievable. How long after she put up the image was it before they jumped down her throat?
I believe we tried to boost the page itself, and that's when they
So it got reviewed. Okay. So to boost means when Facebook charges you to reach the audience that they used to just let you reach because that was the way it used to be.
That was the point of social media.
So boost is where you pay Facebook to actually hit out to the people that want to see you. And that means that there's a Facebook employee who looked that over and determined it was inappropriate.
Yeah, I'm sorry that happened to her. She's a great realtor. And, the idea that she cannot offer a particular service just sounds ridiculous. I mean,
outrageous.
There's probably, like you said, there's probably not another single realtor in New Hampshire that can service somebody who's more comfortable speaking Russian. If, even if I speak a little Spanish, but if I were to go over to Mexico and attempt to do a real estate transaction, I would certainly need somebody who could speak both languages fluently.
Right.
So we got through this. This was flagged right away, I believe. But we wrote a letter explaining that we're trying to service people who are recent immigrants and who cannot speak English, and that allowed us to actually use that photo. And it's still there on her page. So it must have not been a law mandated by the federal government.
No, it's just a policy. Just a policy. So they reversed their decision after you appealed it.
Yeah, a policy implemented by somebody who probably wasn't making minimum wage.
Right, and she services everybody. She speaks English, obviously Russian, and actually Georgian, but she's got clients who are immigrants themselves too, and they feel more comfortable sometimes, Vietnamese, Indian, Chinese, everybody. But we were trying to be more inclusive because, again, we don't actually turn anybody away. It's a silly business decision to do so.
Right. Hey, thank you, Michael. Anything else you want to share tonight?
That's it, guys. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for the call. That's Michael calling from New Hampshire on the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. Jump on over into those, and you'll sound pretty darn good, just like that call over at discord.lrn.fm. Let's go to Bobby. He's calling us from Los Angeles, watching on our Twitch feed over at twitch.lrn.fm. Hello, Bobby.
Hey, how's it going? I was to ask, what's your opinion on Obama trying to take a little bit of credit for the economy boosting? Like, I'm kind of neutral on this, but
Obama's taking credit for the economy?
Yeah. I was reading something about it that Obama's taking credit for the economy. Like, the economy's like up right now because of Trump or something. I'm hearing like different opinions from this. And I heard something that Obama's trying to take credit on the campaign trail or something, trying to campaign for people to vote Democrat. And I just want to get an opinion on this because I'm kind of indecisive on what to think on it.
I'd say he could take some credit for it. First off, I like Bill Clinton's quote that a president taking credit for the economy is kind of like a bull rider taking a credit for the bull ride. I'm
surprised that he said that.
Well, I mean, ultimately, that's what it comes down to. Is it's very difficult. But Obama,
Obama sold a whole lot of guns.
he did sell a lot of guns. There's no doubt about that. I mean, the economy went up. He didn't. He got lucky, or didn't touch the wrong places, or whatever. It went up under him. It went up more under Trump, and I'd say they both can take some credit for it. If you're going to hand out credit.
I don't think you can give credit to presidents in general. I mean, ultimately, if the government were to actually reduce regulation, that might actually increase the economic activity. It likely would. How quickly it would versus, because I know that Trump's taking all this credit, but I'm sorry, I just don't buy that the government's been rolled back in any significant manner at all. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. Politicians are liars, all of them, including Trump and Obama.
I believe you on that. I don't honestly think Trump's more of a politician. I just think he's in there for the fame. But one last thing, fuck niggers.
Oh, well, that's not very professional. Thanks for the call. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Dumped out. You didn't make it to the air.
Yeah,
sorry, buddy.
For the Twitch listeners, real quick. You're the only ones that can hear that stuff. We've got a dump button. It dumps it off the internet stream. It dumps it off the radio. It's a pointless waste of your time.
We're prepared for that. Anyway, toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. We've been doing this longer than some of y'all have been alive. Just saying. All right, let's continue here. We've got Sarah. She's in New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Yes. Did you know that one of our cities here in New Mexico was actually ranked the top 30th for the best cities to live in? Of course, the population of 50,000 or over. So
which city?
We made it. It's Rio Rancho.
Okay.
Rio Rancho came in 30th.
It's not exactly the thing to be crowing about, but I mean, I guess it's not bad.
Yeah, it seems like if you make the list that you're probably in pretty good shape, but, whatever. Why do you think that is, Sarah?
Well, one of the things that they had rated was that it was considered like one of the safest cities. Like, even though it's right next to Albuquerque, it has very low crime rate. And, of course, Intel
Interestingly, that's considered a con.
What, a low crime rate?
I Googled it. No. It says here, best places to live in Rio Rancho, New Mexico. Pros, arts and culture. Attractive setting, year-round climate. Cons, crime rate, urban sprawl, economic cycles.
So you're saying the crime rate is high?
I guess it's bad according to this
It's certainly bad compared to Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine.
Sarah, I don't know where else you were going to go, but we're going to cut you off. Thanks for the call. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. I'm not really interested in hearing a top 30 list of where the best places are to live.
You're not going to get the top 30. We're just going to talk about New Mexico.
Right. Yeah, I'm not moving there. It's Free Talk Live. More coming up. You can bring up what you want.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Your property and your family are precious. Protect them with Blink. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up fast, and their batteries last up to 2 years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening in your home anytime, anywhere. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. You can get 3 Blink cameras for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. Blink is an Amazon company.
Bitcoin.com wants you to know about SaveItPurse.com. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved an average of 15% for a combined $4 million using Bitcoin, or BTC. And now you can use Bitcoin Cash, BCH, to fund your account. You can save between 5 to 33% on things you're going to buy anyway when you shop using SaveItPurse.com. Add items to your cart, fund your account, select your discount, and save. SaveItPurse.com. Save ATPurse.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. You're invited to take control of the airwaves here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. We also have our Discord on-air call-in line rooms available to you. Over at discord.lrn.fm. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
And I want to make sure you know about the Tom Woods Show. He is somebody that a lot of libertarians got to know during the Ron Paul campaigns of 2008 and 2012. Tom's a New York Times bestselling author, and he's written over a dozen books, including The Politically Incorrect Guide to American history. Since September of 2013, Tom's been putting out his show, The Tom Woods Show, every single weekday, which means he's racked up over 1,200 episodes so far.
Yeah, that's a good number.
Big name guests like Ron Paul, Judge Andrew Napolitano, David Stockman, and hundreds more, with topics including war, the Federal Reserve, net neutrality, the FDA, Austrian economics, and other subjects of interest to libertarians. Find The Tom Woods Show online at tomwoods.com or search for Tom Woods Show in your favorite podcatcher. As we continue here, you're still welcome to comment on whatever you want. Do we wrap up the Facebook discussion? I feel like we did that. I think so, yeah. So let's change gears back into Venezuela, where there was a recent wage increase. You know, you hear a lot about the minimum wage.
It's fine. It's great to hear that people are finally going to be making more money in Venezuela.
You hear a lot about
now they'll be able to buy all the goods that they could not afford previously.
You mean the goods that don't exist because businesses have gone under?
It's really just about price allocation. If you give people more money, they'll be able to spend more money and get more goods, right?
Well, no. So there's a lot of misrepresentation and misunderstanding around the idea of the minimum wage here in the United States. There are a lot of protests that have been going on over the last several years outside of fast food restaurants where people are shouting about $15 an hour is a living wage, and that's what they want people to get. And it is designed to move somebody emotionally, to get somebody to think, well, people should get paid more. Yeah, of course they should. Well, it's a nice thing to think, but the reality of economics is
that's not the way it works.
You can't get away from it, okay? You can try for a moment to rearrange the rules of economics, but economics will always follow, a certain path.
I like to think of it as a river or a stream. I mean, pretty much everybody as a kid has played with some kind of stream or another and attempt to block it off. And you can leave the stream alone, and the stream will do what the stream does. You can put some rocks in the way, and the stream will go around the rocks. You can, get all kinds of barriers in the way, and the stream will go around the barriers or go over the barriers or build up and then push the barriers out of the way. But there's no stopping the marketplace. It's going to flow, and you're just attempting to redirect it. Now, you can take the stream, you can run it through a mill, and you can get value out of it and that kind of thing. And yeah, that can work. But this idea that you're just going to take people who are worth less and make them worth more through fiat, just by writing stuff on a piece of paper, that's Mickey Mouse economics, and you don't understand. Go vote for Bernie and be quiet.
So one of the questions we've asked people who support the minimum wage and increasing the minimum wage here on Free Talk Live is, well, why are you just pushing for 15? I mean, if you really want to help people, why not demand $100 an hour? And, of course, the answer might become more obvious to them then if they actually thought about it.
Some have said, yeah, that sounds good. Because that is the level of understanding of economics we've got here.
Right. If you think about it for just a little bit, you might figure out that if a business owner has to all of a sudden pay somebody $100 an hour who was previously making 10, that's a 10 times increase. And
well, that's why we need a national minimum wage, Ian.
Therefore, they would have to increase their prices of the products that they're selling because they have to make that money back somehow. Because you can't price the products below the amount it costs to run your business or you go out of business.
Right. Now, if the business owner is rich, they go out and play golf. If they're poor, they go back and work in the marketplace and stop producing as much. They stop producing jobs and these kinds of things. The funny thing is that so many of these people don't care. They say a business owner is just a rich person, but they don't understand. Most ridiculous. Businesses in this country are put together. They're small businesses, and most small businesses are put together with people who cannot afford to not work.
Right. They're scraping by. They're working 70 hours a week.
Right. You're just eating your own when you go after small businesses.
So here's the news. So we've talked about the U.S. minimum wage. Well, here's what's happening in Venezuela. According to Antonio Maria Delgado at the El Nuevo Herald, nearly 40% of all Venezuelan stores have closed, some of them perhaps permanently, after the government of President Nicolas Maduro increased the minimum salary by nearly 3,500% in one fell swoop, according to the National Council.
But that's going to fix the problem. Because they'll all get paid more, right?
No, they went out of business instead.
Oh.
because there's also price
but the
controls.
businesses that are in business will be so rich that they'll get paid the money, and then they can take that from them in taxes and then support the programs to pay the poor people, because those people will be making so much they'll be rich. We just need to raise the minimum wage to $1 million an hour.
That's basically
and then there'll
what they
be
did.
some rich people that we can tax.
That's basically what they've done here, is raising the minimum wage to ridiculous levels. And according to the Council of Commerce and Services of Venezuela, that's resulting in companies which had barely been surviving. So remember, we're talking about the companies that were still alive somehow after this economy's been decimated already.
Some of the companies are still surviving. Some of them can still find things to sell in a marketplace where nobody's shipping anything in.
Yeah.
People are barely working, and they're waiting in bread lines to get food. They're losing weight. It's... Stop helping, Maduro. You're a moron. You talk to birds. Shut up and leave people alone. Just sit in your office, smoke cigars, and please, for God's sake, stop helping. Tell you what, get on the phone, call Trump. The amount of time you spend chatting with him, he can't mess with us.
Anyway, they saw the salary increase and other changes announced last month as the fatal blow in a series of policies that have been gradually strangling their businesses. Maria Carolina Uzcategui, president of the council, says these decisions are leading many business people to say, no, I can't do it anymore, unquote. The problem is that Venezuelan companies are being forced to sell at prices far below cost.
Let's not forget that a business owner can't sell their business because there's nobody to sell it to.
Right. Who would want to buy a business in Venezuela?
When you go to business, you just lose everything you ever put into it.
Right. They're being forced to sell at prices far below cost, just as employee salaries have increased by 60 times, she said. So it's two really bad economic policies merged together now. So price controls, which we discussed earlier in the form of the price gouging discussion we had earlier
Minimum
tonight.
wage is a price control. I mean,
it's a price control on wage. Yeah.
Well, wage is one thing in the marketplace. You need labor in order to create things, distribute things, all these other things. Minimum wage is just another price control. It works as well as price controls work, which is to say, poorly.
Worse, the regime has banned stores from increasing their prices to cover the salary increases. So they want to have it both ways. They want to increase the minimum wage by 3,500% and fix prices to where the business owner can't do anything at all to make up for this increase in the minimum wage.
Escape. That's what they can do.
Leave as soon as possible.
They should have been leaving, sadly.
Well, it's probably easier said than done, but many of them have been, and escaping across the border, for instance, into Brazil and I think Colombia. More coming up. Free Talk Live.
Healthcare reform is confusing, but whether it's finding an affordable insurance plan, keeping your doctor, or being able to afford needed prescriptions, navigating the healthcare system has become a challenge. Control your own healthcare costs and choices with Liberty HealthShare. Liberty HealthShare is not insurance. It is an association of self-pay patients who unite with like-minded people to share the cost of each other's medical needs. Neighbor helping neighbor. Learn more now by going to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing. To be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless free market non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Because we are smothering in spam, please do not reply to all when you can instead reply. I was recently among over 100 invited to a corporate reunion. It's always a warm affair, and that's the problem. Enthusiasm for our upcoming get-together caused many recipients to RSVP the organizer with a cheery reply to all. I can't wait. Then others piled on with a reply to all to that. Then the "I'm out of my office now" autoresponders joined in. So I replied to all, asking that we all reply only to the organizer. Hey, at least I tried. One invitee, apparently retired, shot back, "Point taken, but I really like seeing the responses since they're so positive." Smiley face. This better be an open bar. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, inviting you to take control of the airwaves here and bring up whatever you want on the radio. Our number here, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And there's our Discord on-air call-in line rooms that are open and available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. We're talking about the minimum wage, not here in the United States, although you can talk about that if you want, but in Venezuela, where not only have they combined a ridiculous increase in their minimum wage with another awful policy, which is that of price controls, but that has resulted in businesses just going ahead and finally throwing in the towel and giving up completely. Why bother trying to openly operate in the regular marketplace anymore? It's just too difficult.
If it happens there, it happens here. If it happens there on a large scale, it's happening here on a smaller scale. When you raise the minimum wage, some businesses are shutting down.
Yeah, that's true. The ones on the edge, the ones that are just barely making it, the ones that can barely get the bills paid at the end of the month.
And that means the employees there are going off to look for other work elsewhere. And they'll likely find it in this marketplace, but will they like their job enough? Presumably, if they were staying there, they were staying there for a reason.
They might find it in this marketplace, but they won't find it in Venezuela. So we're going to continue with that story. Also, I want to make sure you know about Anarchapulco coming up February 14th through the 17th. That's not that far off, actually. It's like, 5 months, I think, now at this point until February. And we're going to be there, Mark. You and I will be broadcasting from Anarchapulco again. It's a great event. We like it so much, we go there just for the cost of travel. Normally, if we go on a remote, we charge, some company wants to hire us to go and talk.
Gotten as much as $15,000 for it before.
Wow. Well, that usually includes advertising running up to the event.
It does.
We don't charge that much for the actual appearance.
No, we don't.
But we're actually relatively cheap when it comes to doing remotes.
We have to want to go, though.
Yeah, we really want to go, and we want to go to Anarchapulco because we've had a lot of fun at Anarchapulco. There's going to be great speeches there, of course. If you're into the speechifying, you'll get to see Ron Paul, Judge Napolitano, Doug Casey, Larkin Rose, and many others yet to be announced. Over at anarchapulco.com, they'll have all kinds of different topics like entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. And I would add probably cryptocurrency. There was a lot of crypto talk going on last year as well. Anarchapulco.com, use code FTL, you get 15% off. This is the first year you're going to get to use a discount code for Free Talk Live, and you better do it soon because they're already halfway to sold out. And they've increased the amount of space that they have this year. So it's going to be at a really nice resort, same resort that it was at last year on the beach in Acapulco, but they're moving into the larger room. This year, I guess in 2018, they had a room that only held about 1,700 people. This time they're going up to about 3,000 or so, and they've already crossed the 1,500 ticket sale threshold. So halfway there.
Yeah, that was at the speed at which they're going. I would say that more than halfway is a safe bet on everything.
Yeah,
and you need to move now
because you want to get your hotel room as well in the same hotel. So go to anarchapulco.com, use code FTL like Free Talk Live, and get 15% off. And don't delay because, well, in this case, good things may not come to those who wait. You might be sold out if you wait too long. All right, so continuing here with the. Looks like the El Nuevo Herald reporting, although the story coming from the Finger Lakes Times, about Venezuela increasing the minimum salary to be paid to employees by 3,500%, while also restricting prices, forcing businesses to sell at prices far below their costs. And that's resulted in business owners saying, well, that's it. Okay, adios. Can't do this anymore. Store owners or managers, if they do increase their prices in response to the increased costs, because again, they got to pay their employees more. So how do you get the money to do that? You increase your prices.
Well, that's the plan.
They can go to prison, according to the president of the National Council of Commerce.
So what socialists do is socialists vilify business people. They like to use the term corporations,
evil business,
fascists, a whole variety of terms that they trot out.
Greedy.
But the whole point here is Maduro has made an S show of his economy.
Putting it nicely.
Yeah. And I'm trying not to. I would like to use the strongest terms to describe the Venezuelan economy. And can you say the United States contributed through sanctions? You can.
Sure, a little bit. Yeah.
Yep, you can. But this is taking a small problem and turning it much, much larger. And the way they did it was, well, socialism. And so now what's he going to do? Well, there's only a few people to blame. The playbook has a few people to blame. United States, we must blame them. Well, there's that. You have to blame, internal agitators. Well, they certainly blame that. You have to blame business people. Well, we certainly blame that. I mean, I don't even know who it all is, but the list is relatively short. This is them setting up businesses to fail because business people can't sell their businesses now because Venezuela's economy is an S show and nobody can buy anything. So
no one's saying would buy anything.
Now we're going to business person. Now we're going to restrict the amount that you can sell pricing at and raise the cost at which labor is going to be provided to you, making it impossible for you not to subsidize our economy or go out of business. We don't care if you go out of business because everybody's going out of business. The economy is an S show. But if you attempt to circumvent our rules, we will be able to put you into a kangaroo court, and we will be able to indict capitalism rather than, socialism, which is the real problem here. And then what will the socialists of the world do? They'll say, well, it's just socialism couldn't fix all the problems of Venezuela. Venezuela had so many problems.
Oh, but it could have fixed it if only they could have just nationalized every company, Mark.
If only it was real socialism.
Yeah. Right. See, the fact that private businesses exist is the problem. We just need to have the government take over absolutely everything. And then
we'll have Star Trek.
And then everybody can just go to work because it's their obligation to society.
If the government takes over everything, then we'll have replicators and spaceships.
Right.
And
we could abolish money.
Technology,
We could abolish money and just
Post-scarcity.
have people go to work because they care about joining their community and helping out.
The government will provide the food with magic.
Yeah, people will go to work on a starship and take orders from some dude that's in charge for nothing. They won't. None of them will want to leave. It'll be really great. There won't be any labor disputes because there will be no shortage of anything. It'll just be domination. Everybody will be happy because we'll tell them to, or we'll zap their butt through the replicator.
Well, they don't have pills for that. You can just take a pill and it'll make you happy.
They're probably the truth, yeah. We're going to shoot you with the mind ray that makes you happy with our stupid economic fantasy.
Okay, so it gets worse, though, because there's another...
By the way, the mind ray won't be created unless it's created by somebody in search of a profit. Stop it. Star Trek is fiction. They specifically... Ray Bradbury was... Is it Ray Bradbury? That's right.
No,
that's
you're
the author.
Gene Roddenberry.
Gene Roddenberry. Gene Roddenberry was very specific about not including money in any of the scripts. There's no money until...
Wasn't he a commie or something?
Deep Space. Well, you watch the show and you tell me.
I don't want to.
I would call him an economic leftist.
So there's one more aspect here, another major aspect of this economic problem that they have down there that is basically forcing businesses to shutter. It would be bad enough to just raise the minimum wage by 3,500%, because that's going to push people out of business just because it's going to raise costs too much. They're just not going to be able to survive. But they're also prohibiting them from raising their prices, so you've got price controls. And the third aspect that we haven't mentioned in this conversation is the hyperinflation. So even if they hadn't raised the minimum wage, businesses are still constantly having an incentive to raise their prices because they have to, because of hyperinflation.
Right.
Constantly, the government is adding more money to the money supply there in Venezuela. But at the same time, they're telling them, you can't raise your prices. We can increase the money supply to the point of ridiculousness. It's the most hyperinflated currency on the planet at the moment. It is incredibly debased. And so, yeah, I mean, there's just no way you can stay in business with these three economic factors weighing in upon you.
You could choose to only do business in cryptocurrency, and I know that there are cryptocurrencies, including Dash, that are attempting to do business down there, but they'd probably come in and call that illegal too.
Well, it's supposedly legal, but again, if you can't raise your prices...
You do your pricing in cryptocurrency. You don't even... transmit it to anything else.
All right, more coming up here in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Joel Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy, formerly Air Force Lieutenant Colonel, Air National Guard and Reservist. I'm looking for veterans, active duty military personnel to join the 90 for Life crusade to save America. She needs your skills, courage, and loyalty more than ever. Contact GCNteam.com. Because of the financial and healthcare collapse, veterans are currently struggling finding jobs. Frustrated looking for a job? Change your tactics. Join the 90 for Life crusade to save America. Start a healthcare business with FDI Youngevity 90 for Life crusade. Contact GCNteam.com immediately. We're looking for military specialists who can use a computer, can communicate information, and execute a battle plan. Join the admirals, Navy SEALs, Marines, pilots, Army officers, military police, sheriffs, police officers, firemen, and first responders already enrolled in the 90 for Life crusade. Contact GCNteam.com now. FDI Youngevity will help you apply your military skills to the task of saving America through health and financial programs. Contact GCNteam.com. Enlist in GCNteam.com and save America.
Free Talk Live.
Now, I can understand why some people would look at what the mainstream environmental movement says and does and advocates and come to the conclusions that, well, some of these people seem to want humans to go back into caves.
They do.
But that's not to say that just because the most vocal environmental activists out there
are socialist nut jobs
are that way means that, well, we should just forget about taking care of the environment. Who wants pollution? Who wants any of that stuff?
Right,
What I want is market-based solutions that don't involve threatening violence against people, and that's what the government solution always is. The government doesn't persuade. The government doesn't ask. The government demands. And if you don't go along with their demands, they've got a nice cold concrete cage waiting for you.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Moments remain. There's enough time for you if you dial now. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can follow us on social media like... we've got the new Mastodon account over at toot.freetalklive.com. That'll take you right to it. We're on the Liberdon server because Mastodon is decentralized, meaning that it is not subject to arbitrary whims of these centralized companies like Twitter or Facebook. Our friend Will Coley was banned from Facebook for 30 days yesterday.
For nothing.
And when I said to him, hey, man, why don't you just not come back this time? Use the 30 days to just forget about Facebook and not bother coming back. But he was like, oh, no, it's been a while since they banned me, so he's going to come back. And there's this strong draw to these platforms. I know it feels like that's where people are, but all you have to do, hey, if you're in radio or if you have another platform on which you can promote ideas, promote the alternatives while you're still on the crappy big old centralized platforms. Promote your posts on a platform like Mastodon. Go to Toot, T-O-O-T, toot.freetalklive.com. You can follow us on that platform.
The problem with that theory is that Facebook actually understands that and demotes posts.
Shadow bans those posts, basically.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, whatever. What can you do? Like I said before, build the alternatives. Don't just complain and try to have the government regulate Facebook the way you want them to be. Just create the way you want a thing to be. Create it separately. So anyway, we were talking about Venezuela, and there's a little bit more here from the story, specifically what it's like to actually be in business for the few that remain.
If you can call it business.
In Venezuela. Antonio Maria Delgado from the El Nuevo Herald reporting here. She interviewed a woman who's the president of the National Council of Commerce and Services. She says if store owners increase prices to deal with either hyperinflation or the new minimum wage that they recently increased by 3,500%. If you increase prices, you could end up in prison. She says, quote, we have inspections.
I can only imagine what Venezuelan prisons are like.
We have inspections, she says, and they force us to sell at last month's prices. Now, remember, one day to the next, they're experiencing brutal hyperinflation, let alone 1 week to the next or an entire month. You have to sell at last month's prices?
Which means that they're only they're pricing. They're attempting to price ahead, which is driving the symptoms of inflation further.
Even higher, yeah. That takes money away from the business because of hyperinflation, she says, when you can't even sell at yesterday's prices because you lose money. And she said further, anyone who protests against these measures runs the risk of going to jail without the right to appeal, without the right to anything, simply because the official whose turn it was to inspect the store just felt like arresting you. He did it, and that's all, she said. Estimates by the Legislative National
Well, if the government doesn't keep these big businesses under control, who's going to, Ian?
This applies to all businesses, just so you know.
Oh, all businesses are big businesses when you're an unemployed, dirty little socialist.
Well, I guess you could say the smallest business would be those who haven't asked the government for permission to do business, but that's illegal too, right? To just sell without asking the government's permission to sell.
We'll throw them in jail too.
Which is the only way you're going to be able to.
You can give things away. You can accept money from people, but you may not give things to people and accept money in exchange, because that's bad.
Estimates by the National Assembly show the country's inflation hit 200% in August alone, which means the currency, the bolivar, lost 2/3 of its value in 31
strong
days.
bolivar? Or the new...
They're not clear which one they're talking about.
This is the new super strong bolivar.
You're talking about the Bolivar Soberano, which is the what they call the sovereign bolivar.
Yeah.
That's what's replacing
Nothing
the
sovereign about that thing.
so-called strong bolivar, which replaced the original bolivar.
Yeah.
So they're on version 3 in just 2 decades. In fact, one of our Twitch chatters
If we were to give the numbers of the inflation from the bolivar, from just
original
the bolivar, then you would
it'd
really
be hard to
see the
calculate
catastrophe that is Venezuela.
So about 4 out of 10 stores have not opened since Maduro announced the salary increase 2 weeks ago. And some of the stores...
4 out of 10.
Correct. Out of those that remained, remember? So the 10 that remain, whatever, because people were already closing down prior to this. But 4 and 10 did not even open their doors as of these new rules. And some of the stores that did open are liquidating their merchandise and plan to close definitively once that's done. Economist Orlando Ochoa said the stores cannot survive the salary increase, especially because owners already had problems obtaining foreign currency to buy imports. He says, quote, "The government sector has the monopoly on imports. The currency market is dysfunctional, and there's hyperinflation. So if salaries are increased by decree, and the commercial and industrial sectors cannot sell their products because of these problems, and on top of that, because of electricity blackouts, infrastructure problems, and the loss of qualified personnel, because they're leaving the country, which is, he says, leaving the country, then it's easy to understand that many people prefer to close."
Say goodnight, Gracie.
The decision,
this economy is done.
Right, and the point he makes here about you have to get foreign currency to buy imports is accurate, because what crazed fool who's an importer, or somebody who's bringing products in or willing to bring a product in, you want to order a pallet full of toilet paper or whatever. If you're the toilet paper supplier, you're not going to take the bolivar. You'd be insane to do that because you can't do anything with it. No bank in the world is going to want to actually convert bolivar for you. Not even the Venezuelan banks will convert bolivar for you. You cannot go into a bank in Venezuela and hand them their own currency and get anything else in return for it.
Well, it's a good thing that Ocasio-Cortez is going to save us all here in the U.S.
The decision is much easier for small and medium-sized companies. Bigger companies risk losing equipment and other investments that could be seized by the government, the experts said. The problem becomes even worse because the economic collapse that the country is suffering is pummeling consumers and therefore sales, said Francisco Ibarra, director of the Econometrica company.
But wait, Maduro must have made this decision because the United States is waging an economic war against the...
That's what he wants you to believe.
Yeah, so it's clearly Maduro is making these decisions as the president of Venezuela because of the United States economic war. Clearly, somehow the economic war is like a Trump mind control ray from a satellite that's causing a socialist, communist moron to make economic decisions that are not even those of the level of a child's level of understanding of economics. But, somehow that's an economic war by the United States. That's what the socialists would have you believe.
Don't give him any ideas about mind control rays, because that's probably what he'll start claiming soon. Ibarra said, quote, if you already have a demand that has been falling across all Venezuelan sectors, and you have this kind of increase in salary, and then you don't have any way of adding these costs to the prices, and you also don't have access to bank financing, and the company already was not generating significant profits, it's obvious then that that's what's happening, is the company is dying.
Yeah.
That's it. It's over.
What else? What else could possibly happen?
Well, don't ask, because we're probably going to find out.
Right.
In Venezuela. It's a nightmare there, and we've been following it here closely because these things can happen where you are. You're comfortable where you are. I get it. we're living a pretty comfortable life in the United States. It seems like everything's just going to be fine
There's
as far as
plenty of rich
economic-
people for us to all steal from.
There's
That's
plenty of
that's
cream to take off of the container of milk, right? Like you can keep on scooping it. It's been there. Just keep on going after the cream, no problem. But what we can see is that the middle class has been dying over time. I guess that means that the ruling class.
That's because of capitalism.
Well, no, that's because
It's
rich
economic
people,
disparity between
rich people have always controlled the government, and you think you're going to use the government to go after rich people because you're a muppron. I mean, like you just haven't figured it out yet. If you allow freedom, middle class will prosper. If you keep on tightening your little socialist claws into things, hoping you get a little bit more.
Wait, that's an incorrect statement. If you allow freedom, everyone prospers.
Sure, but you'll be more likely to go to the middle class.
Let's talk to
David. I
David.
don't think it is that way. I think it's just things get distributed.
I think you get hard work, it gets you to the middle class or the upper middle class, and luck gets you beyond it.
David, some final thoughts here for us from New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live on our Discord chats.
Well, Sarah promoted FTL on the local radio, but I got things I was going to talk about that have substance, but I'm going to protest call, and I'm not going to discuss any. I'll call back tomorrow and discuss them because you made a liar out of yourself, Ian. You said if you hear us talking, that's because we got no callers, and it ain't a Saturday night, Ian. It's a Tuesday night, and I've been on hold for 30 minutes, and I got no time to say anything that's worth saying. So I ain't can even start. So I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, I forgot about you. Have a good night. More coming up here tomorrow.
It happens. It's unfortunate.
You can join us tomorrow online. In the meantime,
try calling any other national talk radio show and see how long you hold for.
Yeah. Well, but Ian does say that, and I think if Ian was holding him to make him, to just get a short period of time, Ian would have said that because that's the kind of guy he is.
Yeah.
But he forgot him, and it's, I've forgotten people too.
Well, beyond that, people who complain, I'm more likely to forget about. 855-450-FREE, that's our number for tomorrow. We're done for tonight. We'll see you online in the meantime over at freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, September 18th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.18 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,201 per ounce. Zen is trading at $15, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,329. Antiwar.com reports a widely expected military offensive against rebel-held Idlib province in northern Syria has been canceled, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. This follows a deal reached by Russia and Turkey to establish a new buffer zone in the area. The deal will see a 15 to 25 kilometer wide buffer zone established between government and rebel territory inside Idlib province. The rebels are to leave this area, which will be jointly patrolled by Turkey and Russia, and are to withdraw all heavy weapons from the area. This deal aims to push both the rebels further back towards the Turkish border and to preclude a military confrontation with Turkey itself, as they've been reinforcing their own position in Idlib in the recent days. This delays any reckoning for what's left of the rebel-held territory, but still appears not to have any specific associated plans for addressing the territorial dispute, nor the presence of a substantial al-Qaeda force in Syria beyond pushing them back a bit and starting a new buffer zone. In the meantime, this will both mean an end to the Syrian and Russian airstrikes against the province and put rebel artillery further away from the rest of the country, limiting civilian casualties. Whether a deal results afterwards is anyone's guess, but there still appears to be little interest in direct talks on either side.